2-2-2, that's really loud.
Yes, it is.
2-2-2-2-2-2-2-2.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TSL coverage on the live stream. We've got the North Hobart Demons taking on North Launceston here live from North Hobart Oval this afternoon. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call the action this afternoon here at the home of football is Chris Rowbottom. Chris, pleasure to be here this afternoon with you.
G'day, Drewy. Yes, it's good to be here at North Hobart Oval. It's overcast conditions here at the home of footy, or the southern home of footy at least. And I've got to say, not a huge crowd in to see these two teams butt heads, but always interested to see what a young North Hobart team might be able to produce, especially against one of the benchmarks of the competition, North Launceston. Haven't been their dominant selves in 2021, certainly not the team that we've seen over the past 6 or 7 seasons, but are still right up there, sitting second, of course, with a record of 10-4. And North Hobart, I'm interested this afternoon in seeing how they approach this game, because the last couple of times they've played North Launceston, they've actually looked okay. Last time they met, they went down to the Bombers, but it was only a 20-point margin, and I think the time before that they were okay too. So a young North Hobart team with a few Devils back in the side this afternoon. The likes of Menzies and McGuinness and McLeod, I believe, will be running around today, which always improves the Demons. They will be missing Jack Sandrick, though, I understand, Drew, who is a big loss out of their midfield. Their big-bodied enforcer through the middle of the ground. So an opportunity there for a young player to step up and maybe make a name for themselves against North Launceston, who still have this really strong core, don't they? Cox Goodyer and Walsh and Bennett. Zach Burt's playing today, Jack Event, of course, Jay Foon's having another terrific season. So those really familiar names continue to get it done for North Launceston. But as you mentioned, they're not the invincible Bombers that they have been in years gone by. So who knows this afternoon? Excited to see what the Demons can bring to the table.
I reckon you'd have to go back a long way, having not researched this at all, to find the last time the Bombers were coming off consecutive losses. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't think that would have happened too often, certainly in kind of the little dynasty period that they forged.
Yep.
And they have lost the last 2 matches, beaten by the top of the table, Launceston, and then Clarence with a bit of a surprise win up north last week. So I think we're going to expect a big response from the Bombers today. They're a proud team. They still fancy themselves to be able to push for the flag, and the last couple of weeks have been a setback. I reckon expect a fired up Bombers outfit here this afternoon. as you mentioned, last time they met, it was pretty close on the scoreboard. I think the Bombers controlled large periods of the play, but the North Hobart defence dug in really well, and they were able to take their chances when they did go forward. They were pretty efficient that afternoon and just kind of kept themselves within touch. I think if they're going to be able to pull off the upset today, we're going to need to see a similarly, I suppose, efficient display going forwards. They're going to need to take their chances when they present themselves today.
Yeah, and the worry, I suppose, for North Hobart is their lack of potency up forward. Jack McCulloch leading their goal kicking with just the 9 majors this year, whereas the other end of the ground, you've got Tommy Bennett with 25, Cox Goodyear 22, and Leary with 22. So that's 3 of the top 5 goal kickers for North Launceston. So a job to do for the North Hobart defence, and they'll have to find some up the other end as well. So just about all set, middle of the ground. Tommy Donnelly looks like he's lining up in the ruck for North Launceston, and Jackson opposing him. I saw the toss out the corner of my eye, and North Launceston will kick to the right of screen. So all set to go here at North Hobart as it goes up in the middle of the ground. First clearance, Foon got the first disposal. North Launceston tumble one towards their forward 50. Pearce goes in after it, gathers the footy. He'll have a chance on goal. He strides to 40, fires on goal and kicks the first of the afternoon. North Launceston on the board within a minute.
What a rapid start. 20 seconds on the clock and 6 to nothing. That was just all too easy there for Nathan Pearce. Just scooped it up, ran inside 50 unopposed and slaughtered it through. Just punched through a lovely kick, but far too easy that, and the dream start for the Bombers.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with that, the Demons. They would have spent the last 25 minutes revving themselves up in the rooms just to concede the first goal of the term within 30 seconds.
So how will the hosts respond? A jump to the system there to get things underway. They respond with a ruck win from Jackson. Can they get a clearance? That looked a little bit like a throw. Play allowed to continue, and Lee Faber presenting up at the ball. Takes the mark, wheels and kicks straight to the man on the mark, smothered by Foon. Lee Faber applies the tackle. Foon still trying to get rid of it. Had a short kick just chopped off. Now going into Van Buren. Umpire allows play to continue. The kick away from Jack Evans into the middle of North Hobart Oval. Picking it up there was Kilpatrick. And balled it across to Ryan as they go backwards to go forwards. And they launch it in the half-forward direction here. It's a nice strong mark taken and a chance to try and hit up a target inside 50. The lead's presented by the big men, and that's exactly where he goes. He found McCulloch, didn't quite complete the mark. And a ball up inside 50. He let that, just couldn't quite clunk on that one there, the big fella.
Yeah, got hands to it, and as you mentioned pre-game, they're the chances that North Hobart are going to have to hang on to and to take if they're going to win this game. Out of the stoppage was Simpson, whose handball was smothered, and that's a high tackle being landed by Fletcher Bennett. Free kick to go the way of North Hobart. Kilpatrick, he'll just set it up top of the 50, and he hits a target, so chance here. Handball comes to Kilpatrick, who has a flying shot on goal from 50. He had the journey, but just missing to the right-hand side. So North Hobart register their first score. North Launceston 1 straight 6. North Hobart 1 behind.
Always good to be ready for that one. The handball from the resting ruckman. Wasn't keen to chance his arm from range, so Kilpatrick dashing by just wide as Van Buren gets another touch and sends the Bombers out to the wing, and they'll attack now, sending it inside 50. It's stretching Zachary Bird. Play continuing. The umpire said bounce beforehand as Bailey Walker lays a strong tackle there. Had a good year for the Demons. Bailey Walker been one of their more consistent performers. A player of particular promises. Donnelly goes up against Jackson in the ruck battle. Caswell screws one around the corner. Leitheba was there. He's immediately besieged. Handball forward from Bennett, going absolutely nowhere because a strong tackle was laid by Dominic White, and Dominic White's going to be rewarded too. So free kick to the Demons. Half back, a little chip, almost took his teammate's head off in the end, stooping low. Leitheba able to get there, and they'll look to send the ball wide in the direction of out there. It's Medwin Smith, the youngster, perhaps getting a chance in the midfield today. That's some nice play down there by the lovely Banks Smith. Couldn't quite take it away though. The experience of Cox Goodyear was on hand to show composure, and he just chips it back into the back pocket. So
Bennett comes back across goal, finds a target in Simpson, kicks beyond defensive 50 and coming out on the lead. Taking the ball was Edmonds. Now up the line to Donnelly. He sees something he likes immediately in Bennett at right half forward. Kick inside 50. He's just at the shoelaces of Bird. He couldn't quite get there. And doing really well was Walker. Leaving, kicking outside his defensive 50 to Young. He goes in forward. Juggling ball taken by Banks Smith. He's at half back for the Demons. Kicks across the ground. This might just work out. It'll fall for Dominic White. His ball inside 50, a little scrubby. Fighting for it at ground level was Leafheber. Going in was McCulloch. Back to Leafheber. On the outside now. Inside they go via the boot of White. It's a skinny sort of entry, and the fist came from Stingle. And it'll be a boundary throw-in a couple of metres around from the right-hand behind post.
Pretty good start this from the Demons, holding their own, certainly winning plenty of the football, just not quite able to settle it down inside 50 and take that mark, get the first goal of the afternoon, but they've held their own in the opening 5. Slightly shallow throw there on this occasion from the umpire, looking to make it work is McCulloch, but he's immediately brought back down and go again. As McCulloch and Donnelly battling it out in the ruck here. Once more, it's going to be Donnelly. Bennett got the handball. He was immediately pressured though. Coming through was Jai Menzie. Rushed through 4 behind. Demons second of the afternoon. This North Launceston showed some pretty nice kicking skills early on here. It's the thing that stands out about their game, their ball use. They're a side that's willing to take risky options and usually execute them pretty well. As this one finds Griffiths in midfield, and Griffiths has found a man in space. Jack Evans all alone in the middle of the ground. That's where he heads, and he'll send the Bombers forward now. 2-on-2 back there. The spoil came. Defensively doing well was Young. And a good tackle laid. Some nice work there from Samuel Caswell applying the pressure. There's a bit rewarded.
So that might have been an insufficient attempt free kick, perhaps?
I think it must be.
Probably not holding the ball. Won't know if Nathan Pearce had the prior, but umpire Ben Leonard on the case. So Caswell wheels around. He'll kick beyond defensive 50 toward a wing, looking towards a pack. Donnelly will get there first, scoops it up with the one arm. He was tackled well by Leafheber. Got off the handball to Sanders, but it spills out of bounds just near the interchange benches. So a boundary throw in. North Launceston had the first goal of this game within the first 30 seconds via the boot of Nathan Pearce. 1 straight 6. The Bombers, 2 behinds the Demons. But they've been okay early. Been able to lock it in their front half. In it comes. Tap came down from Jackson into the path of a teammate in Smith. Couldn't get a handle on the footy. Here is Pearce, and it goes out of bounds once again. Umpire says throw it in, please. So intriguing little battle forming. Very early days here. Looks like Sammy Caswell and Jay Foon will be going head-to-head this afternoon. And Keegan Ryan is standing the dangerous Brad Cox-Goodyear, who just laid a tackle as that kick came out of the pack. Getting back first for North Launceston was Hubbard. Cox-Goodyear there again from Bennett. They'll move it forward now, the Bombers. A little bit of holding perhaps on Bennett. Umpire said no. Out the back of the pack, though, was Leary. Fires on goal. Tight angle. Couldn't quite squeeze it home. A minor score. So the Bombers move to 1-1-7. North Hobart 2 behinds.
Just offline there. The angle working against him, but a reasonable opportunity for Brandon Leary. As the Demons to clear defensive 50. It's a searching kick, but intercepted by the ruck at Donnelly. He'll pump it right back inside here. A couple of free men lurking outside the 50-yard. Short little chip kick.
So we saw Donnelly start in the ruck to start the game. Obviously no Alex Lee out there this afternoon. A big loss.
Worked this one to Foon, who I'm not sure that was his intent. It nearly worked through to Leary, though. The handball will be clearing the area. Oh, that is a howler of a kick there, though. That's the kick of a ruckman, Big Jackson.
What you're saying about giving it to the ruckman?
Oh, that's why the handball off is always in the offing. That was disastrous. No such issues from the opposing ruckman in Donnelly today, though, as he just chips one in short. Not going to be the easiest kick coming up here. There's an opportunity for Ben Simpson to slam through his side second of the day and make Jackson pay for that kick. As he set sail from about the arc of 50. An angle working against him. He'll take his absolute best here, Ben Simpson. He'll set sail for home. It's working back, but not quite enough, and the mark is taken by Jackson, who's certainly been heavily involved right on the last line of defence.
Yeah, he makes amends for his shank of a kick. I was trying to think of a kinder word, but it was a pure shank a little earlier. He takes a nice defensive mark on the goal line, and he receives it back here. So Jackson, he's going to look out of sight. He just throws a high ball up towards the outer wing, getting in front, unable to take the mark. In fact, umpire says there was maybe a holding free kick or a drag down. It'll go the way of McGuinness, who's been really good for the Devils this year. In his club colours this afternoon, of course. Now with Campbell, who concedes some ground, back inside defensive 50. McGuinness has it again. That's a nice ball too. So here's Young. Transferred the play to the opposing back flank. He goes up the wing looking for a one-on-one, and that's a good mark taken in by Menzie, another Devil in the team this afternoon. A little bit of class from Menzie as he pumps North Hobart inside 50. McCulloch got hands to it, couldn't bring it down, got it at ground level but was immediately tackled. Umpire says it was all wrapped up. He'll take it and throw it up, so players converge with the stoppage. McCulloch doing the ruck work. Heavy tackle landed immediately by Sulzberger. Out it comes for North Hobart, one-on-one, featuring Zach Burt. He's back in the team this afternoon. He couldn't get a handle on the footy, and that's going to be a good battle this afternoon too, Zach Burt and Bailey Walker, as it just trickles out of bounds. Still a really prominent core in this North Launceston team. Zach Burt involved in a number of those premierships, of course, and has been used at either end of the ground as well. As Jackson just takes it out of the ruck, was slung as he kicked it. Mark not paid to the player on the bottom of the pack in McCulloch, who's been pretty prominent early as well. Looks like a lot of their forward forays are going to be going through him. So from the stoppage, through came Leafhead, who was immediately tackled by Simpson. So another stoppage here at left half forward for the Demons.
So can they get some reward for their work here, the Demons, and find their first of the afternoon? The clear and kick will send the Bombers forward. Williams down there for North Hobart, putting his body on the line, and strong tackle laid, and we'll have another ball up in the middle of the ground. Edmonds in there making his presence felt for the Bombers. So just the one goal so far through the opening 12 minutes of this one. It's been tight as Jackson wins it, gets it on the left, tumbled it towards Leafover, who was just pushed well after the ball had gone past. Play allowed to continue. Van Buren was there. Now Walsh deals with Leafover again. The umpire, in fact, did spot that one though, so the free kick will go to Leafover. Just a little unnecessary there off the ball. And the youngster hesitating to pull the trigger. Eventually he just saunters inside and just stands it up inside the 50 arc, and a good relieving mark is taken back there. Some nice work from Stingle. He'll send the kick outside defensive 50. Spoil came from behind. Coming through was Leary. They're just running out of real estate. So the ball up, probably about the halfway point of quarter number one. It's the visitors leading this one by 5 points. Scoring opportunities at a premium so far. It's been a tight, contested old battle in the midfielders. The relieving ruckman McCulloch in there, won this one down. The kick swung inside 50, but defending from in front was Bennett. Cox Goodyear with some class, gave the handball out to Edmonds, and Edmonds will ping them down the line, nicely defended by Hugh M. Williams. And now they'll look to go inside 50, but just slung off his kick. The danger hasn't passed, though. Sent into the direction there of Campbell. He gives the handball back to Lee Fiber. Wouldn't sit for him. The defence came. The elevator door slammed shut. A strong tackle laid by Van Buren. And they'll hold up for another ball up inside 50. Got to say, the tackling pressure impressive from both sides here, Rowie.
Yeah, the pressure is up, which is good to see. North Hobart with a chance here. Inside attacking 50. Off the stoppage came Menzie. Couldn't gather it cleanly. He went back in for another crack. Foon's in there. Umpire says, I'll have it, please. And we'll have another stoppage. 30 metres out from North Hobart's goal. Edmonds does the ruck work straight down to Cox Goodyear, who feeds it to Simpson. He'll get it back too. Here's Cox Goodyear through the middle of North Hobart. Long ball towards 50. He's got a one-on-one. Burt and Walker. Walker was excellent. Won the footy. Handed it off to McGuinness. And now it finds itself in the arms of Young, I think it is. In fact, no, it's coming back now. So Banks-Smith with the footy at centre-half back for North Hobart. Looking for McCulley. Did okay on the second crack. Foon goes in, couldn't gather it cleanly. He had support, though. There's White for North Hobart. Back now to McGuinness. Over the top now, running out of tarmac was Kilpatrick, but he got it back too wide. He got it inboard to Caswell. Over the top, handball was somewhat ambitious, but they're still maintaining possession here, North Hobart, and eventually they just opt to slow things down a touch. And White takes the mark. He's on centre wing, outer side. Dangerous sort of ball. Big collision. It was Bennett and McGuinness. And it comes once more, but North Hobart just controlling this little passage. They can't seem to get the breakthrough, though. Leafheber has not had room to move all afternoon, and he's tackled once more by Stingle. So another stoppage here, top of the 50 for North Hobart. North Launceston lead 1-1-7, North Hobart 2 behinds.
The ball just keeps pitching right in front of his feet, young Leafheber. Won't sit for him as the Bombers look to clear the area here, tumbling it forwards, but it's going to come right back into the defensive 50 to kick from Kilpatrick. Couldn't quite find a target. Tight against the line. The Bombers will just see it over, and it's been an impressive effort through the opening 16 minutes of this Bombers defence to not concede. The ball has spent plenty of time up this end of the ground, but the hosts just unable to find a way through. They're knocking on the door, though. Can they find the opening goal here as this one's knocked down? Sprinting onto that was Caswell. Goes wide to White from tight against the line. He sends them into the centering because that one's going to be cleared, though. Able to get it away was Foon, and he swings like a day. Will kick 55 metres if you don't mind. And now a key one-on-one between Burt and Walker. Just losing his feet was Burt, and then an errant handball. Might still work out, though, because he found Donnelly, whose kick was a poor one. Straight out of bounds on the full. And going to come right back at them here. A little chip in short. Finds Hugh Williams. They've got the spare on the outer side if they can execute the switch, although it wasn't a particularly good kick from Williams. Almost tumbled out of play. Running into trouble, and in the end, just fumbling it over the line was Kilpatrick. They had an extra number there. That was all rather sloppy. And a throw in inside 450 for the Bombers.
Loving that one-on-one. Burt and Walker have been... they've had a couple of tussles early. Walker's probably got the early points so far, but it's going to be one to watch all afternoon, I think. And it comes. Jackson got to the front and just spiked it, but straight over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. So North Hobart yet to kick a goal. North Launceston had one very early. They'll be searching for another here. 17 and a half gone. First term. Rucks go at it, and Jackson does that so well. Takes it out of the ruck and always manages to get a kick away, but on this occasion he's turned it straight over. Riley Sanders takes the mark. Just forward of a wing for North Launceston. Sees something he likes in the pocket, and coming out strongly is Bennett. Probably just a touch beyond him this distance. Be kicking from at least 60 if he wanted to set sail for home. It's a beautiful kick, but I don't think he's got the range there. He just elects to pop it up, and that's a really good defensive mark from Kilpatrick getting across. Strong hands in front of Foon.
Kilpatrick Goes through the middle and finds Williams. The quick handball off to the impressive Bailey Walker. Immediately dishes it back as they look to transition it forward with some purpose here to the Demons. It's Will Splan taking the mark, and Splan just shanks the kick a little. It might work to Lefebvre's advantage. Just bounced in front of him yet again, though. Turning and kicking, here's Angus Norton. Couldn't quite find the mark there. And it hits the deck. Scrapping away, the handball across, and a chance for the opening goal of the afternoon for the Demons. And they've got it. Number 19, not on my team sheet, Rowie. I'm not sure if he's on yours.
Georgie McLeod, one of the Devils boys.
A late in and a good in. They get the goal they needed and really deserved on the balance of play.
You can just tell, can't you, the benefit of having these Devils guys back for North Hobart, because everything that Jai Menzies touched so far has looked great. Tyler McGuinness is a class above. And then, of course, the finish there from George McLeod. And the kick inside 50, although a little bit wobbly, came from Will Splan as well, who's another one of those guys. So the benefit of having those elite end players back in this team is certainly showing early. And North Hobart take a 1-point lead. They're 1-2-8. North Launceston 1-1-7. Out the middle they go again. McLeod, the goal kicker, kick inside 50. Big fly at the back. Mark unable to be taken. Ball in contention. Top of the 50 now. Fighting hard for it, the D's, who have worked the handball game pretty well this afternoon. But on this occasion they turn it over to Event, who kicks toward a wing for North Launceston. It'll come back the other way, getting front spot. Strong mark here from Splan. So, Will Splan here, famous Tassie footy name, Splan. At right half forward, pops it up. Did he find a target? Jackson might have been paid the mark. In fact, he'll get a free kick over the shoulder. And he had just a little bit of space, Jackson. And if he didn't take the mark, then the free kick was going to be paid, and it was. So chance here for North Hobart to kick consecutive goals and to just stretch this advantage. I've been impressed so far, Drew.
I think they've been the better side here in this first quarter quite comfortably. They're playing a really good brand of football. They're taking it right up to North Launceston and a chance to take a 7-point lead here.
So Nick Jackson, who's had some influence on this game so far, he ambles on in. He'll kick from 35 metres out. He pumps the fist. The double cobra goes up. And North Hobart have their second via the boot of Nick Jackson. Reward for effort.
Yeah, and the big fella's playing a role too. Will Splan heavily involved in both their goals, just leading up outside the 50-yard and giving them that big key forward target that perhaps they've lacked at times this year. Splan, a young player coming through, but just doing the basics, providing him that hit-up target, and that allows Jackson to just stay a little bit deeper. And the height does seem to be troubling the Bombers at the back just a little bit here, although they have defended pretty well given the amount of time the ball has spent down there. Credit across the board, I think, for the Demons. They've been fantastic in this opening quarter.
Oh, no Alex Lee, as we mentioned. That's why Donnelly's in the ruck this afternoon for North Launceston, as North Hobart looked to maybe go forward, but was unable to be gathered by Ryan, who just laid the tackle in the end on Event. So a ball up right in the heart of North Hobart Oval. Donnelly won the tap, but flashing through was Caswell, who gathered it. Inside 50 they go, and that might have been another chop of the arms, and it was.
Yeah, the umpire was in the midfield, spotted that one, and the secondary umpire came in, and Bruce Plan again.
Here he is, so if this goes through, he would have played a part in all three of North Hobart's goals so far, and that's what happens when you get it in quick. He again just had that little tiny bit of separation, got the arms up, didn't take the mark, but forced the North Launceston defender to overcommit to the spoil. So Will Splan for North Hobart's third, and to extend this margin. In he comes. He'll kick from just inside 50, sends it on its way. It'll get all the way there. It'll clear the pack on the goal line, and North Hobart have a third. 3 in about 3 minutes, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, they're absolutely hitting the scoreboard here at the end of the first quarter in red time. Really, they've come to life. It's been a grind for them this first quarter. They've had so much play that wasn't translating into anything on the scoreboard, and then their last 3 attacks have gone bang, bang, bang. Will Splan is on fire, and the Demons with a handy break here. And I think important that they did get some scoreboard reward for the first quarter they've played. If this game kind of went in the first change of scores level, the Bombers would have been far happier with that, I reckon, given the way it's transpired.
Yeah, absolutely. So young Will Edmonds down there standing splan at the moment. He's got a little bit to think about at the moment as North Launceston look to take it from the centre bounce. Contested ball. Here's Cox Goodyer. Can he ignite something for the Bombers? Tumbler inside 50. Good contest between North Hobart and North Launceston unfolding here. Little handball missed its mark. Edmonds went to ground. He emerged with the footy. Eventually won out a handball. The class of Foon. Left foot ball towards goal. Burt with the one arm. Did he reel it in? I think he did. Umpires paid it. So Zach Burt takes the mark and will kick on goal from 15 metres out, tight angle. Looks to be maybe thinking about the round the body kick. But you'd back Zach Burt from here. Knows his way around the big sticks, that's for sure. And while the margin isn't huge, they need this one to the Bombers. As a mini steadier early in this game. Leans back on the kick and thumps it through. So Burt has his first. North Launceston have their second. And that was the exact response they needed, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, finally getting the better of Bailey Walker in those marking contests. They've had two kind of fairly deep duels, kind of deep towards goals, and Walker won the first two fairly handily. On that occasion, it was the response from Burt, and he gets what was definitely a needed goal for the North Launceston Bombers there. Cuts it back to 7 points, and just after the way the last 10 minutes has gone, important that they struck back there. So again, the Rucks will go at it. Neither wins that one terribly decisively. Still in the circle as Foon lays a tackle from behind. Picked up there by Donnelly, but the umpire had already paid the free kick to Foon. It was a raking tackle there. So 25 and a half gone in quarter number one. There's been a heap of stoppages, so I can't think it's going to be the longest first quarter. Not too long left here. Just asking about the 50-metre penalty there for encroachment by Kilpatrick. Thought he had a case there, Foon. In the end, he just pumps it forward, and the ruckman Jackson's able to park himself back there and take the relieving mark. His kick not so good. The second time he's got them into trouble clearing the air. That'll be holding the ball. Banks Smith picked up, spun around and drops it. Sulzberger into the team. Handballs to Cox Goodyear from 55. Not on line, always floating wide and punched. But out of play, out of bounds. And the Demons will take over in the back pocket.
Cox Goodyear from 55. They are words that get you out of your seat every single time. So clearing defensive 50 now. The D's. Walsh, the fall of the ball. Got the handball away. Couldn't find a target. Going through was poke. It'll spill out of bounds though. Out of side. So North Hobart 3-2-20. Lead North Launceston 2-1-13 after the Bombers got a very early jump. North Hobart have dominated this quarter, it's fair to say. Can North Launceston pinch one at the death here? Rucks to go at it. Donnelly and Jackson. Donnelly goes in after it. Caswell's wrapped up. We'll have another ball up. Left half forward for the Bombers. Up it goes. Jackson, Donnelly. Jackson tries to wrench it out. It falls to Event. He's tackled by Jackson. And we'll have another stoppage. 27 minutes gone. First term. In fact, there is the first quarter siren. North Hobart lead after one quarter. 3-2-20 to North Launceston. 2-1-13. Some goal kickers for North Hobart. Will Splam has one. George McLeod has one. And Nick Jackson, the ruckman, has one too, while for North Launceston, Nathan Pearce and Zach Burt were the goal kickers in that first term. Drury, I was really impressed by North Hobart in that first quarter. Yeah, fantastic effort from them, coming off a couple of tough defeats. They certainly were looking for a response today against an opponent who they knew was going to come out and fired up after rare consecutive losses for the Bombers. So you expected plenty of heat, and there was that in the opening 20 minutes. I think the tackling intensity and the pressure around the ball has been fantastic from both sides. But I think just winning a little bit more of the ball around the coalface has been the Demons. It's allowed them to control things. I probably felt
more confident when the Bombers have had the ball in possession. I think they've looked pretty good when they've been able to get the ball and work it around, ship their kicks around. They just haven't been able to do that all that often because the Demons have won more of it and well worth their lead. Probably a case that it could be further ahead.
Yeah, and we spoke about the Demons, Devils players coming back into the team today. They've just provided that little bit of polish and that little bit of class and something to kick to inside 50 with Splan getting on the end of a few and being able to get up the ground a little bit, take a couple of marks and set up a couple of goals. He's been really impressive, as has Jai Menzies and George McLeod, the goal kicker. But I've really liked the work of Nick Jackson in the ruck. He's up against Donnelly this afternoon, who's not a recognised ruckman, so he's always going to have the edge, but he's capitalising on that. He took a mark inside 50, he took a saving mark on the goal line at the other end, and his ability to take the ball out of the ruck and get a kick forward, I think is really valuable to North Hobart. His kicking itself, it needs a little bit of work, Drewy, but I've really liked his game so far today as well. And one thing you do know with North Launceston, though, the margin is basically non-existent at the moment. They're going to hit back because they're so proud and they've still got that core of absolute weapons in Cox Goodyer, who we're just watching now, maybe casting his eye over the magnets on the board, just wondering where they can maybe find an edge. Jay Foon, who was pretty prominent as well in that first term. Jack Event and these types too. Zach Burt kicked the goal as well. So they're going to hit back hard, and North Hobart need to be prepared for the response.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're definitely expecting a pretty direct response in this second quarter from the Bombers. Can the Demons' defence kind of hold the line? And I expect we'll see a few more of those Burt versus Walker one-on-ones. I think we've got 3 one-on-one contesters deep inside 50 in that quarter. Not too often in modern footy you get that. So much it's about the team defence, zonal marking kind of system. It's been a lot of one-on-one battles, and it's been quite intriguing. But yeah, I think the North Hobart defence best brace themselves because whilst they've been very, very good out of the middle in that first quarter, and Jackson, as you've touched on, has really dominated that contest to give them the edge. I think it's unlikely to happen for 4 straight quarters, so certainly be prepared for that.
Tommy Bennett's been well held as well, and Bailey Walker, who normally takes, I guess, the best forward in inverted commas, has gone to Burt this afternoon, and Bennett hasn't been part of that matchup, but he's been fairly well held at this stage. He's had his hands on the ball a couple of times, but the Bombers' leading goal kicker hasn't had a huge influence thus far, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We might take a short break, Drewy, and be back in just a few moments to commence the second term between North Launceston and North Hobart at North Hobart Oval. Second quarter action all set, just about to get underway here at North Hobart Oval, where the Demons lead the Bombers 3-2-20 to 2-1-13. The Bombers got an early jump, kicked the first goal of the game within the first 30 seconds. Nathan Pearce straight out of the middle. From there it was North Hobart kicking 3 straight before Zach Burt kicked a little steadier in the shadows of quarter time. But it's been an interesting contest so far here at an overcast North Hobart Oval. The young Demons certainly showing they're up for the fight, which is all you can ask for. So back in the middle as umpire Benny Leonard raises the Sharon aloft. And away we go. So Jackson and Donnelly back in the ruck, straight down to the feet of Caswell, who couldn't gather cleanly. Event did, got it up to Cox Goodyer. His kick was smothered. Sanders got there first for the Bombers, off to Cox Goodyer again, who feeds the handball to Bennett, and his kick will find Donnelly. In fact, it didn't, because it bounced off the chest of the red-headed ruckman. Caswell cleaned it up for North Hobart, and they find themselves now at right half forward. Mark unable to be taken by Van Buren. In Demons' hands now, they work the footy. Shot on goal wasn't the finest, coming from the boot of Banks Smith. It'll just dribble over the boundary line. But some intent there early from the Demons, so boundary throw-in. 10 metres around from the left behind post for North Hobart, looking to strike first blood in this second term. Out of the ruck, unable to be taken at ground level. We'll have another stoppage there as Campbell wraps things up for the Demons. Up it goes, Campbell and Donnelly. Donnelly won it down, gathered his own footy, did really well. Fed off the handball to Event, who just straddles the boundary, looking for Bennett, who roved his own footy, gave it off to Simpson, couldn't find Edmonds. He ran into trouble. Ball stays in, still stays in. Event gave it to Foon, over the top to Pearce, who just knocked it on. A little bit of chaos ball from North Launceston as they just edge it forward. There's a high tackle. It's been plucked out as some afters. The players getting involved, and it's Keegan Ryan out there, I think, in the thick of things for North Hobart as they just take their time to emerge. So the kick will go North Hobart's way, in the hands of Dominic Wyke, who just pops it up into the middle of the ground. He had Jay Foon to contend with, who just got one around the ears. He'll take the free kick. So Jay Foon putting together another terrific season for North Launceston. In fact, he's put together probably 7 in a row terrific seasons. Gives it to Bennett, who goes inboard to Cox Goodyer, who is absolutely within range.
Yeah, this is in his wheelhouse. Just good patient ball use there from the Bombers. Just moving it around, working the angles, found the opening, and a good man to end up with the football. I
don't think he'll be giving it off around the back. Cox Goodyer, he'll kick from just inside 50. He lets fly on that famous left boot. In fact, he was nowhere near it. He didn't register. Out of bounds on the full from the champ. So no change to the score so far in this second term. North Hobart 3-2-20 lead North Launceston 2-1-13. 3 minutes gone. Second term, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, just trading off accuracy for distance there, perhaps. Goodyear really looked to give the ball an almighty thump. But not quite what the doctor ordered on that occasion. So a long roost out of defence from Keegan Ryan. The ruckman surely held there. Jackson, his arm was almost wrenched out of its socket there. He'll get the free kick. So at half back, probably been the most influential man on the ground, the ruckman. But kicks from defensive 50 has probably been the area of his game that's let him down thus far. He will just launch this one up high down the wing. Good mark taken by Edmonds. He flew high. A great leap there. Then he feigns one way, goes back the other, sends him to half forward. It's all Demons parked back there, though. North Hobart will intercept and looks on launch here. As turning and going is Finlay Polk, who chips it down the line. It was a searching kick, but just eluding his teammate there. Out of play for a throw-in. So, slightly sloppy kicking from the Demons. There's some room to manoeuvre down this near wing for them there. They would have been a little crisper with the ball use. 20-13 is their lead. As one's tumbled back into play. Once again, Donnelly and Jackson go at it. Nimble at the contest was Donnelly and kicks it straight down the throat of Hugh Williams, who intercepts and goes centrally. That's a dicey kick invited. Danger. Cutting it off was Bennett, the dangerous Bennett. Handballs to Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear lets fly from 45, and he's just offline to the left.
3 shots on goal now, Cox Goodyear. So they're starting to warm up, and the dam wall you would expect to burst at some stage if he's continuing to be peppering the goals. So footy in North Hobart hands. Out it comes beyond defensive 50. Poke at the back, just worked his man underneath it and gave away the free kick. So Stingle, centre wing, near side, right in front of the interchange benches. He'll send the left foot ball inside 50, a little half ride there, but the free kick was given away. I think it was Leary.
Just as Stingle made sure his push was seen, as did Hugh Williams right back at them there.
That's experience.
Yeah. Just pronounced the lean into the back nicely.
He did. Hugh Williams tucks it under his arm and goes for a gallop. Runs right to the 50 and kicks it to the near wing. Out the back was Menzies, who read it best. Can he paddle it and gather it under his spell? He couldn't quite. Simpson was met heavily. He gathered the footy. This might be holding the ball. Umpire said yes. He made no attempt to get rid of it. He was deemed to have dragged it in. He took possession, was immediately tackled. Holding the ball, free kick. Menzies inside 50. All Bombers at the front of the pack. And it'll be a North Launceston free kick going the way of Edmonds. He might have just copped one a little high. He sees something he likes immediately. Kicks straight into the man on the mark. In trouble here, North Launceston. Edmonds had to butter up with a strong tackle, and he did. Gee, almost absolute calamity for North Launceston. Some of the kicking this afternoon, Drewy, has not been of the highest quality. Now the stoppage, Kilpatrick. He's going to get a free kick. He was taken high, said the umpire.
Just on the bottom of the pack, and yes, the umpire's plucked one there. Here comes from tame turnover, trying to clear the defensive 50 again. It's uncharacteristic of the Bombers, some of this kicking down there, although the Demons have had their own issues.
Well, it was Will Splann involved, wasn't it? The man on the marker. I know he didn't really force it, but he was still involved. So Kilpatrick here for North Hobart to kick the first of the second term, and as soon as it left his boot, he raised the fist to say, yep, that is through the big sticks. So North Hobart strike first blood in this second term. They bounce out to a 2-goal lead. Andrew Cooling.
Yes, they do. There's some dark clouds just starting to float by here. The weather looking a little ominous, which, generally speaking, you would say favours the team with the lead, makes it harder to be reined in. But given the influence their tools are having on this contest, I think they'd be quite happy for it to stay dry out there. I think that's the area they're really getting an edge out there in this battle. And they want their big men to keep having that kind of an impact. So I reckon the hosts will be eager for the rain to stay away just for the time being, as Jackson and Donnelly prepare to do battle once more. Jackson just flicked it behind him straight to the opposing ruckman. Chip kick forward, almost intercepted. Falls back into dispute. Lee Fiber goes after it, tackled by Cox Goodyear, but he got his handball off to Jackson first, who tumbles them inside 50. Splann couldn't quite bring that one under his spell. Ball hits the deck, and we'll have a ball up inside 50. Getting in there again. They're battling away well here, the Demons, at the moment. They're on top of the contest against the second placed Bombers. We might just be fearing for that home final if they were to slip to third, as this one's kicked along the boundary and spoiled out of play. It was a big win for Clarence last week. If they were to drop points again here today, North Launceston, the door would be firmly ajar for the Roos. So plenty on the line in this battle, certainly for the Bombers. The Demons probably more playing for pride and trying to avoid the wooden spoon at this point of the season. Donnelly wins that one down. Looks to butter up his efforts at ground level. The handball spills out the back and Norton swings them inside 50. Now Lee Fiber goes down, picks it up, gives the handball Dishes it across, a chance here for Keegan Ryan. Bumped as he kicked, but it didn't impact him. Keegan Ryan steers it home, and North Hobart have their fifth. They lead 5-2-32 to North Launceston 2-2-14. And after going down in the opening 20 seconds of this game, they've been fantastic, Chris Rowbottom.
Oh, that was just a matter of scrambling it forward at all costs and eventually winning possession and then finishing. And Keegan Ryan was able to do so. It wasn't the prettiest finish of all time, but went through the two big ones, Andrew Cooling, and that's all you need. And all of a sudden, North Hobart skip out to a 3-goal advantage. And, well, I know it's very, very early, but North Launceston would just be feeling a little nervous about how things are unfolding here at North Hobart Oval. Back in the ruck, Edmonds has gone in there to replace Donnelly. Caswell, hands and knees, couldn't win out the handball. In there, I think it was Pope. In fact, it was Ryan, the goal kicker. He went down. We'll have another ball up, middle of North Hobart. Up it goes, Jackson and Edmonds again, and there's Jackson just reefing it out as he does. Scrambles a little ball forward. Unable to win clean possession. In fact, it ended up in North Hobart hands with another chance here. Could McLeod kick a second? As the rain starts to tumble, he misses to the right-hand side. North Hobart all over North Launceston here. And Andrew Cooling, it's about to get wet.
Yeah, the heavens have opened as they look to chip the ball around the defensive 50 and switch it up. Edmonds has been pretty prolific in this game so far, but his kick unable to find a teammate up there on centre wing, so another stoppage. But the confidence just flowing right now through this Demons outfit. They've got a scent of a victory about this afternoon. A big chance for them. It's been a tough season. They would relish a big win over the Bombers, that's for sure. A long way to go before that's achieved, though. Still very early doors here, but a promising start as Jackson again takes it out of the ruck. The Bombers fighting for it at ground level, and I think they're destined for another throw up here. And if the rain continues to pour down, expect plenty more of them as the afternoon progresses. That was nicely done, though, by the Bombers on this occasion. They'll kick it to half forward. The mark taken by Pearce, who looks it up, assesses the options, doesn't have a lot to go to, so just dropped it in short instead. Now they'll go inside 50. Spoil came from behind, nicely defended by McGuinness. But the danger hasn't passed. The handball came out, snapshot from Avance inside towards the square, but eventually it's just picked up and cleared on out of there. Nicely done. Good hands from Finlay Poke. He was clean and he needed to be. And the clearing kick finds Menzie on centre wing. And Jai Menzie will just settle things down here and wait, find an option further up the field. He kicks to a 2-on-1. Wasn't the best option, but giving a good contest again was Will Spran. The numbers always favoured the Bombers, though, and they looked to bounce off half back. A poor kick, though, into the middle of the ground. Menzie goes in. It was clean at ground level as ever, Jai Menzie. That's what separates him from so many out there. His kick, not quite what he was looking for, but the spoil came in from the side. Flynn was in there, as was Avant. Running in a bit of trouble, here's Hubbard. Oh, relentless pressure from the Demons. Leafiber and Williams. And then the handball came off there. And they'll go inside 50 once more. Massages a little kick, and he finds McCulloch. And sliding in and using every inch of his height to reach that one is the big fella.
That was brilliant play from North Hobart. They looked a top two team in that little 3-minute passage there. Jai Menzie went a couple of times. They worked it by hand really, really well, and then the little finishing kick from Tyler McGuinness to find the forward in Jack McCulloch. Uncharacteristic turnover, middle of the ground from Brad Cox-Goodger, and all of a sudden North Hobart have a shot on goal.
It's been the big men who've done the damage on the scoreboard this afternoon. Can McCulloch follow suit? He certainly can. His fist was raised the moment it left his boot. The confidence is flowing through this Demons playing group, and they skip out to a 25-point break.
Yeah, well, this is amazing from North Hobart. This is a team that hasn't won a game since round 5, just one win for the season. Anchored to the bottom of the table, playing a North Launceston team who we know aren't the North Launceston of years gone by, but is still a very, very good football team with some very good players, and they're teaching him a lesson at the moment. 25 points the margin, and it's only going to get wetter, you would think, here at North Hobart, so goals at an absolute premium. North Lonnie just the 2 for the match so far. We're 14 minutes into the second term, and North Hobart running absolute rings. Out of the middle they go again. They have possession. Umpires picked a free kick though. It will end up with North Launceston. What can they conjure here? Can they hit a target inside 50? This ball doesn't find anyone in particular. Big tackle laid on Zach Burt. Umpire says, I'll have it please. And the North Hobart defence is just holding up really nicely. You just wonder how long they can sustain it for. Jackson down, Edmonds out of the pack, kick towards goal, but getting back was Walker, who takes the mark on the goal line. And this rain, I wouldn't describe it as heavy rain, but it's persistent and certainly heavy enough. So kick towards the wing, over the top now, and everything just seems to be falling for the Demons as White, well, he went outside of the boot, but he was unable to find green grass or a target, and it bounces out of bounds on the full as Edmonds goes for a fair trek all the way behind the grandstand to go and retrieve the footy.
Most of the spectators have kind of huddled under the roofs here at North Hobart at the moment. I don't think anyone was inclined to go chase that one for it.
Didn't have anyone leaping out of their seat. Edmonds takes his full measure, kicks towards the middle of the ground. Mark unable to be taken by Van Buren, but he gathers the loose footy and just bounds away, kick inside 50 now. Who can take a mark? Off the chest of the North Launceston player, scrambly one inside 50, looking for Pearce. Leary went to ground, and it'll spill out of bounds for another boundary throwing right in front of the scoreboard that reads North Hobart 6-3-39, North Launceston 2-2-14, 16 minutes gone second term. Andrew Cooling.
The Bombers would dearly love a goal here. 25 points in arrears with the rain tumbling at North Hobart. Too much losing streak, not something this group is overly accustomed to. We're going to have another stoppage here. He's dialing up the pressure at the moment of the Bombers. The last two deliveries inside 50 have been pretty good, but two big contests won again by young Bailey Walker from behind twice. Once with the spoil, one with a good tackle. He's been immense down there for the Demons as the ball back into play. Once again, it's just Jackson taking out the contest and swinging a kick on out of there. Banks Smith digging in there, but it's now Williams. Free kick's going to go the way of North Hobart, though. It's going to go the way of Banks Smith, who wants to get them moving quickly. And in the end, I think his kick was smothered. It's going to be 50 metres. The man wasn't on his line, so perhaps Banks Smith was cognizant of that. That's why he went with the kick, and then again he delivers it quickly inside 50. Going back and just unable to mark it was Campbell. Now the ball is on the deck, and they'll all pile in after it. And a ball up inside 50.
The D's are just moving everything as quickly as they possibly can. They're not really stopping and propping. They're just getting it and going, and it's catching North Launceston off guard. As we see another stoppage now locked inside the Demons forward 50.
Yeah, you're right. They've really shown greater intent than their opponents, haven't they? This one's inside 50. Should be cleared away, though, and is by Edmonds. Took an awkward bounce over the head of Williams. The handball backwards. It's going to be tough for anyone to gather it cleanly, given the state of the football at the moment. Okay, Red Soapers, a strong bump was laid there. Then leap over marks, and then suckers in Walsh into giving away the 50. Gets him up and lets him know all about it too.
Walsh thought he played on, and it did look like he took a step to play on.
Well, we had, but you've got to wait for the whistle.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Gave him the shove, and now Leaf has a chance, doesn't he?
Big opportunity here to extend the advantage to 31 points. In the wind of the rain, this won't be an easy kick, but everything seems to be going the way of the Demons at the moment. Can Leafiber drive up low here? He can't. He hangs it out to the right for a minor score. But I think Launceston in bad need of the next goal in this one, Rowie.
They absolutely need the next goal. Only the 4 scoring shots and a couple of out of bounds on the full as the kick comes in and he's chopped off by Smith. So another chance here for North Hobart. Just uncharacteristic skill errors from North Launceston. Starting to cost them. Smith just seems a little unsure here. If he's to kick on goal, it'll be from 40 with a heavy ball. He takes all he can, runs inside, sends a high ball, top of the goal square. Can anybody take a mark? Big fist came from the back, bouncing ball still inside forward 50. Leif Heber gathers the footy, and how many times has he just been smashed this afternoon? Poor old Leif Heber. He hasn't had a lot of room to move, but he's certainly working hard, going at the ball, that's for sure. Up it goes again. Scrambly. That's Campbell at the bottom of the pack. He's all wrapped up. Umpire Ben Leonard says, I'll have it, thank you very much. I'll ball it up once more as the rain continues to fall here at North Hobart. Out of the ruck was Edmonds. Event was tackled by Smith. Got a disposal away, said the umpire. Out it comes, a couple of young North Launceston players combined. Eventually it's Foon who just tumbles one forward. Burt just ripped his man off the ball. It ends up with Caswell of North Hobart. Back to McGuinness. Kick in board is a good one to Fitzpatrick. Gave it to Williams. Kick towards right half forward now. Good contest. Van Buren got an arm to it. Couldn't bring it down. And it will spill out of bounds at right half forward for North Hobart, who continue to press.
It was always going to be tough for the Bombers there when they cleared the area, because there was two spares behind the ball for the Demons, and they were able to just win it back. Only Williams slipping over kind of prevented that going deeper back inside 50. But all hands on deck at the back at the moment for the Bombers is the key contested half back. Slightly in the back there by Keegan Ryan, but he'll get away with that on Simpson. And again, big throw up from the umpire, punched by McCulloch. Tumbles towards the boundary. That'll be out on the full. Jack Avant a little unlucky there, sliding off his boot. And he'll present the opportunity. It's going to be a pretty tough kick, this one.
This would be something.
Tight to the line. We'll take the absolute best of McLeod. He's kicked one today, so this would be spectacular. Tight to the boundary line. McLeod will set sail from 48 with the drop punt. It was pretty good contact, but it was always holding its line and not working back enough. Just the minor score as the lead extends to 27 points.
They just keep peppering. Can North Launceston break the wall here? Gee, it was taken all the way out of full back by Bennett, who didn't really know what to do and looped a handball over the top. North Hobart with another tackle. They force another stoppage inside their forward 50. So they just cannot get out here, the Bombers. Having a really rough time of it. Donnelly goes with the spoil, or the punch, directly over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in. Still at left half forward for North Hobart. 6-5-41 the D's. North Launceston 2-2-14, 22 gone. Second term. Wet conditions at North Hobart Oval. Here's Jackson. Nobody won the tap. Donnelly got up, tried to slap it forward, only as far as Caswell. Now the clearing kick from North Launceston just finds McGuinness, who has set himself up well defensively. Inside 50 they go again, the Demons. Over the back, it ended up with Event, who got it off to Simpson. His handball chopped off by Smith, who's done some nice things in this second term. Kick towards a one-on-one in the pocket, looking for Campbell. It was a little misguided, but we'll have another boundary throw in, deep in North Hobart's attacking zone.
Just wonder if maybe they need to try and get rid of this spare that the Demons have and just try go man on man around the ground at the moment. They've got the extra at the contest, but of course there's that man parked behind the ball. The last three times they've tried to clear the area, they've had to do it by hand, and it's just not working for them. The pressure relentless from the Demons as Jackson picks it up, and really they're not getting any impact from that extra man at the stoppage, because so often Jackson's just picking it up, disregarding all the midfielders and doing it himself. As again Donnelly deals with him. Donnelly won that one down a little more decisively though, but anyone getting meaningful distance and clear the area, they will. Into the corridor, Walker juggled attempts, couldn't pull it off, and now perhaps a chance for the Demons, or the Bombers rather, out the back. That one just pitched in the middle of the park, Pope tumbling in. I thought a free kick given away. It's going to go the way though of Angus Norton. Well, didn't make particularly good use of that, just handles it straight back to the opposition, but a spectacular tackle from behind. Once again, it's Jackson who's just getting involved, and he sends them deep inside 50 here. Defensive mark was spilled. They head towards the boundary line. Let's stay in play. Not on this occasion. A ball up and throw in rather. 24 minutes have ticked by in quarter number 2. The Demons in total command here, Ray.
They certainly are. North Launceston can't get it past halfway, and that's a sentence we wouldn't have uttered at any time in the past 7 seasons, I wouldn't have thought. But they're having a real tough time of it this afternoon. Donnelly in the ruck. Couldn't get a clean tap. Ball to be won at ground level. Simpson runs away with it. Gives it off to Bennett. Moving it forward now, North Launceston, but again straight into the arms of a North Hobart player coming out to meet it. Couldn't take the mark, but managed to force a stoppage. This is about as good as it gets at the moment for North Launceston. The stoppage on centre wing out of side. Up it goes. Donnelly on the ruck, just hacked out of the air. Getting back, taking a nice defensive mark. Did he hang on? No, he didn't. Umpire said no. Merging with the footy. Again, they're just really trying anything they can to work it hard. Foon tries to scramble something forward. He's Bird up the ground. He rides a tackle. They're inside 50, the Bombers. Can they conjure something here? Flashing through was Leary. He was just worked off his kick. Couldn't get a shot on goal. Anything. Leary out of the congestion. Sends a ball forward. Gee, that might be a goal. That might be the fire starter for North Launceston. Something out of absolutely nothing from Leary. He just threw it on the boot and it tumbled on through. And boy, oh boy, did they need that one, Andrew Calling.
That's a miraculous goal. That is an incredible, incredible strike. Exactly what you need when you've not been inside 50 in 10 minutes. Just a little bit of luck. And just threw it on the boot and it floated through to absolute perfection. I think he was just trying to square it to the top of the square and they didn't caught a hold of it, but it's worked out beautifully, and to say that was badly needed is one hell of an understatement, because they have been pummeled in this second term and they cut the margin back to 21 points, and really their first attack they've had in some time. It's pretty unlucky for the Demons, who forced them wide, did everything you'd expect, but can they maybe string together a couple here and really change the complexion of this match heading into half-time? The tackles are being laid, the rain is only getting heavier, and that might help the bigger bodies of the Bombers against this young Demons outfit. Donnelly won that one down. Kilpatrick just bumped off a little by Simpson. It'll be tough for anyone to be clean in these conditions. Cox Goodyear worked it backwards, and now they go for Simpson, who just send it on the boot inside 50. It's going to be a tough one, but the leaving mark is taken back there. A little surprised the lights haven't come on here, right?
It's dark. It's proper dark here at North Hobart. They're having a tough time of it, in case you hadn't noticed on the stream, especially out on that outer side. It is raining and it is dark. So in North Launceston hands, multiple entries now, although this is going to be out of bounds on the full. Half chance wasted here, North Launceston. Footy will go back to North Hobart. In fact, it's coming back up the ground a little. But yeah, conditions are not great. The rain is pretty heavy now. And the lights, maybe they're just avoiding the power bill, the charges. But I reckon it's about time they come on, because it's not great viewing, it has to be said. Donnelly steals it, wheels around, tumbles one forward for North Launceston, but only as far as the boundary line, as the rain really picks up now. North Hobart, this 21-point lead is precious considering the conditions.
It's worth an extra couple of goals, that's for sure. It's going to be a real battle of attrition in this second half.
Deep into the first half now. Boundary throw in at right half forward for North Launceston. Can they pluck something here and get consecutive goals? Get out of the congestion. Simpson did pretty well. He met Williams. He moves gingerly and he's met illegally to the umpire and get the free kick. They don't have to do anything fancy here, North Hobart, in the shadows of the first half. They'll be happy to just kick it long, try and force stoppages. That's exactly what they're going to do, as that one's knocked out of bounds. Right in front of the George Miller stand on the outer side. At a wet, cold and dark North Hobart Oval. where the Demons lead by 21 points. Searching for just their second win of the year. And it comes once more. Just kicked out of the ruck this time by Jackson. Down on the full. It is hammering down the tree calling.
Oh my God.
Absolutely thumping down at North Hobart. Turn the lights on. If somebody is in the club rooms listening on the stream, flick the switch, please. We can't see.
It is absolutely belted down. It's the Demons.
Here they come. I think they've heard us. The lights have been fired up.
Excellent. That is our input director, Eric Young. This is what's swung back in the centre wing, run down by Jackson. So just try and get the maul, the rolling maul to get across here, but Williams takes the relieving mark. And marks are going to work their weight in gold as this game goes on. It's getting wetter and wetter. He drives them down the line. Trying to complete the mark there with Splan, but it's going to be pretty tough for the players of his height to maintain the impact they've had in this one, as we've gone past half an hour here. Surely the half-time siren can't be too far away. The Demons with a big lead, that might be the approach, just low, punch it down the line type kicks. I think we're in for a real territory battle in this second half. It's going to be just get the ball forwards and then set up and see what we can do. Not going to be a lot of transitioning off half-back, I don't think.
I reckon we've had 10 stoppages in the past 90 seconds, it feels like. So that's just chewing clock. And it comes right half forward for North Launceston. Going out of there. Backed out of there. As you mentioned, the territory battle. Still out of bounds once more. One to George Miller for another boundary throw-in. The rain just eases. Thankfully, North Hobart would be absolutely thrilled with what they've been able to conjure so far in this game. And there is the siren. So half-time in this one. North Hobart stunning North Launceston in this first half. 6-5-41 the D's. North Launceston 3-2-20. 21 points the margin in ordinary conditions at North Hobart Oval. Some goal kickers for you. All singles for the Demons. Jack McCulloch has one. Nick Jackson has one. Kilpatrick has one. Keegan Ryan has one. George McLeod and Will Splan, the other goal kickers for North Hobart. Or for North Launceston, Zach Burt, Nathan Pearce and Brandon Leary. They kicked the last goal of that half. The individual goal kickers for North Launceston. Drew Calling. The conditions are awful. It's cold, it's wet and it's dark, but North Hobart will be loving it at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. They weren't the team that wanted the half-time break there, that's for sure. They'll be absolutely loving what they've produced so far. Through two quarters here today, they've brought a terrific intent to the game. It's been the best half of football I've seen them play this year. I think I've probably done 4 or 5 North Hobart games this year, and that's probably as good a half as football as they have put together this season. The youngsters have been really, really impressive. The game's now going to change a little bit in the second half. It's going to be a real physical slog. It's going to be congested ball. It's going to be slamming forward and trying to win 30 metres. Then we go again, that real battle of attrition. It's going to change. You'd think that might fancy the bigger bodies of North Launceston, but really, in that first half, North Hobart, they won that midfield battle pretty comprehensively, and I'd say they're almost beating them up around the ball at times.
Yeah, they've looked to they've been able to either score or lock it in, which is all you can ask for as a coach. North Launceston, though, you just sense that the only way is up for North Launceston. And again, we keep on harping. good, Jad. Just threatened to get going at one point there, but didn't quite ignite his team like he would have liked. He's been fairly well held. Event's been around the ball. Foon's been okay. Van Buren's been okay. But they're missing Alex Lee this gallantly, but Nick Jackson's sort of really having an influence on this game. That'll probably be tempered a little bit in the second half due to the conditions, so that'll be interesting. But I'm very intrigued to see what North Launceston can pull out of the hat in this second half.
Of 2 defeats and now staring down a half-time deficit. It's a critical juncture really in their season if they're going to push on, make a challenge to Launceston and Clarence, who appear to be the ones they're fighting with for the flag. But he talked about this year about fitness levels of southern teams versus northern teams. I think fitness is going to come into this one here today. There's going to be a lot of tired bodies in this fourth quarter. Who's going to have that little bit left to give late on?
I'm sure Mitch Thorpe would be looking on with intense interest. Demons and the Bombers. North Hobart lead by 21 points. We'll be back soon.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to move stuff out of the rain myself. But it was after the break.
Union State League action. Second half just moments away from getting underway between North Hobart and North Launceston, and it's the Demons taking a 21 point into the third term. 6-5-41 to North Launceston at 3. Continue their run in this second half that did start to rain quite heavily in the back end of that, but things have tidied up a touch, and the sun's out a little bit and the rain seems to have
seems to have blown over for the time being, which I'm sure the Bombers would be really torrential, but cleared up a bit and we're ready for the battle to resume. The unexpected leaders, can they keep that going here in quarter number 3? They're going no out of the blocks. We'll have another ball up. It's an area where they were able to really get on top of the contest. Picked up there by Menzies, swings it forward. Big fibre, his handball on Banks Smith. Going in after it is Cox Goodyear, and it spills out the back. Just unable to pick it up cleanly. It's going to be tough out there for the Boone got the handball out. Edmonds. Banks. Tackle from Foon. Now a play for a throw-in.
So already a scrappy sort of start third term, but as we mentioned, the rain has stopped for the time being. But they're inside 50 here for the first time in the second half. Ruck's thump came from Jackson, unable to be gathered by Stingle. Caswell hacked it back, gained 15 or 20 metres. It was immediately met by a team. A ball up inside the centre square. Donnelly getting up, punching it to a teammate who was immediately tackled. Hands and knees stuff. And we'll have it all wrapped again, but it is officially inside 50, if only just for the Bombers. Bit of a run on. Out it comes via the boot of Pearce. He'll send the Bombers deep inside 50. Some good defensive work there with a fist over the top. It's eventually just hacked off the deck. And it bounds for a boundary throw in at left half forward for North Launceston.
Call in from the umpire, so important he got some purchase on that one. As it's back into play. Woodley clearing it away, but Cox Goodyear pumps them right back inside 50. Edmonds complete the mark. Now it's going to be picked up by Griffiths. Couldn't quite control it. The slippery condition. Just outpointed in the end. It spills out the back. Will it stay in play? A little push going there from Dominic White. It's out of play for a throw in. Interesting to see man on man around the ground to start quarter. Ball in the first half. They tried to do it, but immediately saw a bomber just. So I think an adjustment's been made.
Yep, so Brad Cox Goodyear clearly a few things at the major break. Trying to crack this one open for North Launceston. Of BCG and a few of his premiership teammates. It's all North Hobart as they look to go forward once more. Off hands, middle of the ground. And Kilpatrick couldn't drag it in. We'll have another stoppage. That second term. So stoppages galore moment here in greasy conditions at North Hobart Oval. Donnelly now working it forward, gained some good. McGuinness is there. He's got Leary for company. Kicked a really interesting. Just threw it on his boot deep in attack and managed to scramble on through. So in it comes again. To contest the ruck work with Jackson. It was Jackson who won it down, and it just eluded Cox-Goodger as it spilled.
That's going to be the story of the second half here. Repeat stoppages. And it is just pure. Teams were having a spare defensive style of the stoppage in the first half. Now it's just pure man on. Get a clear and kick away here. It'll be the Bombers who win it and send themselves inside 50. And it has, snapping it through is Leary, his second of the afternoon. And in quarter number 3 of the Bombers to cut the gap to 15 points.
Yeah, wow. That's isn't it? Scrappy, 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 and then Leary. He's done it twice now, conjured something out of for North Launceston, and all of a sudden 15 points doesn't seem as imposing, especially when you put first in the third term.
Clear skies too.
Clear skies, which is welcome news for North Launceston. So North Hobart. The middle, big hit coming through was Ben Simpson on McCulloch, just belt. Donnelly's in there as well. Scrappy ball, they'll get another clearance here, the Bombers, through the boot. Now to be gathered by Pearce. One-on-one as the ball tracks towards the boundary. Taken by McGuinness for the Demons. He had Leary to contend with, and he just let it nestle in the singular juke. Clear now does McGuinness. Over the back, working hard for the Demons was Smith. The lights are on, overcast conditions, the rain has stopped. Greasy and slippery. The Demons lead by 15 points. 27 I should say, it was 21 at the main break. And to convince the umpire that it was. Guys, McCulloch just trying to get as much distance as possible. Go out of bounds once again. To 26. Caswell and Cox-Goodger front of the stop. The rucks go at it once again. McCulloch doing some ruck work in this third term. And he's fit out the handball. It was picked off really well by White, who just handball to nobody in particular. Leaf had.
So a big Q Williams was expecting to receive that one from Leaf Hebber from 30 centimetres away from him. Connolly tried to come over the top. The click straight up in the air from Stingle. And a foot race being led out. He's looking okay. So for the time being, McCulloch will battle with Donnelly, who won that one down decisively. Williams just diving on top of that one. Could be in trouble if he didn't get it out. It did spring out eventually, though. And the Demons will send it towards half forward, looking for Smith. Couldn't quite bring it down. Demons with the numbers at the fall of the ball. Picked up here and swung inside 50 by Dominic White. It's a high up and under. Decisively fisted clear, though. But the contest resumes as Lee finally goes down. Strong tackle laid by Walsh. And that's as far as they'll go. So another stoppage inside 50. Tackling pressure. It's been good from both teams. Just The one goal has been found in quarter number 3 so far. It's a real arm wrestle of a battle from here on out. Slung off his kick was Simpson. Sent it wide. Williams seeking the safety of the boundary line. And he finds it. So the ball in. He had one intention there, Huey Williams, and he just reached it. So as we approach the 10-minute mark, it's 15 points in favour of North Launceston. Trying to grind their way back into this one. Goals will be tough to come by. Donnelly faring a little bit better, it has to be said, against McCulloch rather than Jackson in some of these more recent contests. Out for another throw in.
So we can just see Jackson at the interchange. We think he's just having a rest. Doesn't look to be in any distress or no injury concerns there. Looks to be wanting to get back on the ground, but the ball is sort of stuck on the outer side as it has been for a long time now, it would seem.
A few questions being asked about sufficient intent there.
Yes. It looks like it might be paid.
Yeah, I think it probably had to be. They just punched it straight out of play.
They might have lost a footy here. Someone on Ride Street might have a free Sharon sitting on their front patio. Oh no, here we go. So North Hobart ball, inside 50 they go. Campbell the target, just worked underneath it. That might have been a push in the back on Cox Goodyer. Umpire said no. Scrambling for a clean possession, both teams, as it's just worked forward. That might be out of bounds on the full. In fact, it is. And it'll be a North Launceston free kick. So here's Zach Burt thrown into defence. He's a long way from home. He just kicks toward a win straight onto the chest of Hugh Williams, though, who gets in the way. He's done that 10,000 times in his state league career. Inside 50 go the Demons. Burt just dropped the hot potato. Went back and got it. Fed out a handball. Did well. Got it to Foon. He'll just tumble the ball as far as he can into the middle of the ground. Good one-on-one contest. Here's White. Came in for support. McGuinness couldn't get a clean handle on the footy. Nice tackle laid. Leary got a little scrambling ball out. Just trying to work it forward. Williams, a big collision in the middle of the ground. We'll have another stoppage. Banks Smith wasn't easily moved. And on we go. So Caswell gathers the footy. And he was taken off it by Walsh, and he's deemed to be holding the ball. Umpire said he took on the tackler. Cox Goodyer just eyes lit up as he was bounding towards the 50-metre line with ball in hand. Umpire said, bring it back, please. So here's Walsh. Kicks into the pocket. Strong mark taken by Bennett coming out. We haven't called his name too often this afternoon, but he has a chance here. Does Tom Bennett.
A strong lead out. I think defended the situation pretty well, the Demons there, to force him wide, but the strength and size of Bennett too much.
Well, this is where he's operated for large parts of the afternoon. Nice and wide. 25 goals for the season, Tom Bennett. He straddles the boundary. This won't be a goal. And there he is again. Big Jackson taking a strong defensive mark for North Hobart. Too tall in defence. Clears defensive 50 with a high ball. McGuinness the target. Got hands to it. Couldn't bring it down. There's Norton on hands and knees. Finley Poke just worked his man off it. They try and work it forward now to the Demons. Picked up by Van Buren of the Bombers, who just swings around and puts his team inside 50 once again. Foon might have thrown it. Umpire said no. Kick on goal. Bouncing. Menzies will get there first. Always a sure user with ball in hand. Uses Kilpatrick. He goes over the top by hand to a teammate. Menzies kept on running. Kick towards half forward now. Good one-on-one between Bennett and McLeod. Umpire said McLeod was hanging on. Bennett will get the free kick. North Hobart fans not happy, nor with the coaching staff in the box next to us. So from right half back, Bennett kicks. Couldn't hit the target. Menzies emerges with the footy. Got it out to Walker. Couldn't gather it. Over the boundary line it goes.
Yeah, the cleanliness of John Menzies really has stood out on a wet day like today. He's ability to just grab it clean at ground level and not fumble the football and buying that extra second has really been noticeable today. Just a touch of class that he adds to this Demons outfit. And entertaining watch as Joe Menzies this afternoon, as this one's going to be gathered there by Jacobart, who wheels inside 50. Defender just worked his man under the ball. Looming is the dangerous Leary. He's kicked two, lost his footing on this occasion though. Just invited the defender into. McGuinness will shift it on out of there and they'll clear it up towards the wing, but Finlay Pope couldn't quite ring that one down. And be nervous any time that Leary is running onto the ball inside forward 50 as a defender. He's shown himself to be quite the live wire here this afternoon, and indeed throughout season 2021. But, has looked their most likely avenue to goal, just making things happen down there. It's not been overly structured stuff, as Jackson again is able to get a clearance. He's had plenty of them today, the big ruckman. All back in dispute in the middle of the ground though, and the Bombers will go forward here through Stingle, who'll send them in deep. Leary's down there again. Can anyone gather it? Oh, he can. He gets the kick away, and it's a goal. And I think it's Thomas Donnelly who might have got it away. Or is it Leary? It is Leary. Yeah. And he's playing for a free kick afterwards here too. It's broken out inside 50 after the goal. Well, they've cut the margin back to 9 points, and the Demons don't want to give away a free kick here and let that be 3, and they might just have.
There's one being paid. Who's it going to? It might be in the middle of the ground to North Hobart.
I think it's gone the other way, given the way everyone's rushing back now. Well, chaos after that one, but we're back within 9.
There's a man down still in North Hobart's defensive 50. Physio just assessing him. It might be Tyler McGuinness. He looks really worse for wear.
Oh, he's still being thrown about everywhere here. I was trying to sort this out.
Just breaking things up. The central umpire making his way over to the fracas. Yeah, Tyler McGuinness looks in a bad way. He's making his way from the ground in the hands of trainers. So just trying to decipher what's actually happening here. We thought we had a North Hobart free kick middle of the ground. In fact, I think we do. The footy's in the hands of Jackson for North Hobart. Middle of the ground after a free kick for a high emerged from that altercation. And it will be with Jackson, who's just going to send North Hobart as long as he possibly can. Inside 50 they go. This game has gone up a notch as North Launceston hit back. Scrambler inside 50 from McLeod. Can that North Hobart find a response? McCulloch, little one towards goal. Campbell direction. Good tackle, Leaf Heber. 15 metres out from North Hobart's goal. So all of a sudden it's a 9-point ball game. North Hobart led by as many as 27 points in this game, but North Launceston are grinding their way back as Ben Simpson is wrapped up. I'd like one here, North Hobart, a steadier. (6-5-41) the D's. North Launceston 5-2-32, clearing ball only as far as McCulloch though, so chance here for the D's. He marks 48 metres out from goal. He's just going to set it up to a dangerous spot. Leafhaber got some space. Defenders arrived for North Launceston. Offhands Donnelly gave it to Simpson. Back to Simpson now. The kick along the ground will work to Edmonds. He clears defensive 50. Sees a contest he likes. Walker in front of the other Edmonds. Leary was worked off the footy. Burt got a kick towards forward 50. Pearce was there. Williams just scrambling. Eventually got boots a ball. Gains 25 metres. And that was high. So a free kick in the middle of the ground will go North Launceston's way. Andrew Cooling.
Big win that from Hugh Williams moments ago. He had to stand his ground in that contest. A 2-on-1 here. Menzies did pretty well under some firm pressure from the Bombers. You just sense a surging here in the third quarter. They've closed the gap to 9 there. Looking to get a little bit of a run on. It's been a real workmanlike grind in quarter number 3. They've kicked the only 2 goals. And they've just worn them down, but suddenly sensing that momentum might just be with them a tad. They're inside 50 once more here. On the bottom of the pack is Medwin Smith. And there'll be a ball up. 19 and a half have ticked by in the third quarter here. Big moments in this football matches. The Demons lead being eaten into. Trying to clear the area as Kilpatrick, who is brought down. Play allowed to continue. Kicking forward is Stingle. Just a one man versus three. The numbers always favouring the Demons there. That's a great tackle there from events. Seeking the safety of the line there. Fortunately was able to rush it through from behind. And didn't cough up the free kick. But they are coming at them right now, the Bombers. Important they just steady, and Splan felt he had enough of that. I thought he certainly did. That mark not paid to him. Very harsh on the youngster. Tackle from behind from Sanders is in the back. A free kick this time will be paid the way of Connor Smith, who just chips one backwards where he finds Keegan Ryan. Maybe just looking to settle things down and control the football for a spell here. The chip across to the prolific Nicholas Jackson. And he's kicking off half-back, hasn't always led to the best results. Sends this one up. Splan flying from behind, but wrested away by Edmonds, and he'll send the Bombers inside 50. It's a dangerous-looking kick. Defending the situation well was Medwin Smith, and sees it through for a minor score as they just continue to eat into that gap. It's a 7-point ball game.
7 points the margin here at North Hobart. North Launceston making their move. Walker now over the top to poke, and North Hobart conjure something here. Inside 50 they go. Getting back strongly was Burt. Moved into defence in this second half, and that's why, because he can actually intercept with the best of them. So a bit of time and space now for North Launceston through Van Buren. Spots Donnelly at right half forward. Kick was well weighted. Hit the target. Donnelly inside 50 for Edmonds, who rose, got into good position. There's a free kick, and it'll go the way of North Launceston. Edmonds made his way to the front of the pack, and the umpire said that Jackson just dragged the arm at the crucial moment. So this to make it a 1-point ball game. It's been all North Launceston this term. North Hobart led by as many as 27. Edmonds comes in, leans back on the kick, and makes no mistake. North Launceston have reeled North Hobart in. The Demons 6-5-41. The Bombers 6-4-40. They're back, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, red time in quarter number 3, and they're back within a point. They've been fantastic this quarter. We expected a response from the Bombers, and that's exactly what we've got. They simply appear to be the more confident team, and they're just running and covering the ground a little bit better than their opponents at the moment. We saw Burt at half-back was able to just kind of have 20 metres of space to himself. That wasn't happening in the first half. They were under pressure any time they got a hold of the football, the Bombers. Suddenly that intensity and pressure has just dropped a little from the Demons this term. And it hasn't all come at once, but they've been able to work their way back, and it's a 1-point ball game now. And all to play for is trying to get in here is Kilpatrick. Was brought down strongly by Walshfield. A Cox Goodyear outside of the boot, inside 50, or dropping the intercept mark. That might invite some pressure. Swooping on it is Pearce! And they've taken the lead, the Bombers. They've come all the way back, and Pearce slots that through. They lead this one by 5 points. It's been a tremendous response from the Northerners. And suddenly, it's the Demons who are left searching for a few answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And North Launceston have just got their tail up now. And we spoke about that class. And, yeah, wow, they've just come out and hit North Hobart like a sledgehammer in this third term. They've kicked the last 4 goals of this game. They look to be hanging on for dear life at half-time, but they have sprung into life. 4 in a row, North Launceston, and wasn't that a classy finish from Nathan Pearce, who has 2 goals now. What have North Hobart got up their sleeve as North Launceston look to go forward again? They all of a sudden look to be just walking on air. North Launceston as Foon gathers, breaks a tackle, breaks two, breaks three, gets a kick away. Middle of the ground now. Stingle spins out of trouble. Left foot ball inside 50. Here's Pearce again. It was a little bit too heavy for him. It'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. But this game has been flipped on its head in a big way. The onus now well and truly on the Demons, who find themselves down by 5 points. A 32-point turnaround from North Launceston. We knew they'd come and come hard. And they've done exactly that, and they're pressing again here in this third term, locked inside the forward 50 for the Bombers. So North Hobart just seem to have gone away a little bit from what made them so successful in that first half as Kokilja pounces on a loose footy, and you know the rest. Right foot ball around the body, and the big guns are starting to fire now for the Bombers. North Launceston 8-4-52. North Hobart 6-5-41. It's an avalanche, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, the thing about the very good teams in the competition is they will go at it for all 4 quarters. You might be able to wrestle control away the contest for a period, as the Demons did in the first half. But they're relentless, this Bombers brigade, and they have just kept bringing the heat. They've kept bringing the intensity in the third quarter. Unfortunately, the Demons has fallen right away around the ball, and suddenly their defence is really being left exposed because they're getting some fantastic service inside 50, and it's stemming from the midfield where it's done a complete 180. This man needs to start winning a bit more of it. Samuel Caswell was outstanding in the first half. He's gone a little bit quiet. They'll get a free kick here. A chance for McCulloch to spot a target up. I'm not sure if they've taken a mark inside 50 in this third quarter. They've certainly struggled in that area. He'll put this one deep, and the Bombers fly. But first to the fall was Menzies. Couldn't make anything of it though. The handball backwards from Bennett, and that's a little bit of pressure. Norton applying the tackle from behind. Sanders handballing it backwards. Clearing kick was smothered. Back centrally, that won't be 15. Play continues. Cox Goodyear surely taken high. Just angled the body, used his Nelson experience, and then a little bit of back chat, and Shoes who'll get 50 to boot, and could really, really make it hurt if they were to find another goal and skip out to a 17-point lead before the three-quarter time siren. He spotted Nathan Pearce in acres of space. Pearce looks to the leads. They're tearing at him. Ignores them though. Fencing a roost. He won't. He'll just chip it into the pocket eventually. And stretching is Thomas Bennett, who just takes it inside the field of play. An opportunity will be a difficult one to extend the margin out to 17 points, which was unthinkable 10 or 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, you can't be giving away 50-metre penalties to Brad Cox, could you, off half-back?
No, just sling into half forward where he can do some real damage. So Bennett, from the tightest of angles, he puts it into the post. It wasn't a bad kick. Minor score only. Even 2 goals the gap. Dying embers of quarter number 3.
We liked it off the boot because he had the arm pointed to the sky. He thought it was a goal. Denied by the post. So here go the Demons. This one's just going to stay within the field of play and find the chest of White. Takes the mark in front of Simpson. And now, short kick is on. It's a good one to McLeod. He's going to go into defence, and I don't know about that. He put the big ruckman under all sorts of pressure. Here's Pearce. Handball over the top. Event streams into an open goal. And North Launceston walking on air at North Hobart Oval. Really poor decision-making from the young Demons. Gifts the Bombers a goal. And this margin extended. The Bombers 9-5-59. North Hobart 6-5-41. One-way traffic in this third term. 29 minutes gone. And all of a sudden, North Launceston have this game by the throat.
Yeah, I think that's 6 goals to nothing this quarter, I believe. They have really put them to the sword. We We anticipated a response, and this has been a furious response indeed from a North Launceston team who felt they were the stronger unit. And boy, they starting to show it now. As Simpson from hands and knees spills out the back. Diving on top of that is McCulloch. The umpire says, I'll have it 29.5. Has ticked by, but done pretty well with the first half to perhaps stay as close as they did, given how much they've been outplayed. A period of 20 minutes in the ascendancy here in this third quarter, and North Launceston have really made it count on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and this is probably the North Launceston we expected to see, and probably the way we expected the game to go. North Hobart were excellent in that first half and really surprised us, but sadly haven't been able to continue it on.
Perhaps the fitness theory coming to the fore here, are we?
Called it.
Simpson swings them deep inside 50 once more, and the siren sounds to bring an end. So a very impressive third quarter from North Launceston. The Bombers emphatically kicking 6 goals to naught, and with a 3-goal lead at three-quarter time. I think the Demons might have preferred if the torrential downpour had stayed there, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have liked to have just brought the game down to an absolute slog with that 21-point buffer that they had at half-time. But as soon as the sun started to poke out from behind the clouds and the rain cleared up, North Launceston said, yep, we got to wake up here, and they did. They used the improving conditions to their advantage, and as we saw that the prime movers just start to get on top. Cox Goodger was prolific in that quarter. We saw Zach Burt go back into defence and take an intercept mark and have an impact down there. Jack Event kicked a goal, an easy one, mind you, but he kicked a good one. Nathan Pearce has kicked 2 goals now, and Brandon Leary has been the igniter and the fire starter in the forward half. North Hobart, as we saw, deep into that final term with that last goal that was scored, they went back into their shells. I felt like in that first half, they were chain of handball, taking the game on, playing on at every opportunity. But as we saw, it was really indicative of that third term, that last little passage where they went back into defence. They tried to kick to a ruckman standing still in the middle of their defensive 50. They just set him up, and North Launceston pounced and kicked an easy goal out of it. So they went away from what they were doing in that first half, which was quick ball movement, keeping North Launceston on their toes, that pressure as well, that it didn't seem to be there. Maybe it is that fitness theory that Mitch Thorpe spoke about, and the southern teams not being quite as fit as the 2 northern clubs, because North Launceston just seemed to have extra reserve in the tank in that third term, and they used it, and the narrative now becomes, how much do North Launceston win by? It looked like a North Hobart win at some stage, and now it might be a matter of North Hobart trying to cork the flow and stem the bleeding as much as they can, which you wouldn't have thought halfway through that second term.
No, certainly not. I mean, there's maybe a slight wind advantage to that end, but it's not significant. It's not really what would have caused that. I think the reason I mentioned the fitness is it's just they look to be moving so much better in that third quarter, North Launceston than North Hobart. And you said they went away from what they were doing well. What they were doing well was that dash in the first half. There was always a willing runner. There was someone there for the handball receive. That just wasn't there in that third quarter. They'd look around, teammates were out on their legs, they were reeling from the contests, and the Bombers, they were fantastic. They lifted. We knew they were going to at some point, and they just kept rolling on. Perhaps they've just physically worn down this younger opposition a bit, and were able to really make it count in quarter number 3. The other thing I think was going man-on-man around the ground made a huge difference, because suddenly it was North Hobart who had a bit of space and room to manoeuvre off halfback to find targets and rebound. The first half, it was a clearing kick that was then intercepted and pumped straight back in. They stopped having that numerical advantage on the wing. Suddenly, it really changed the complexion of the game, and I just think going man-on-man around the ground was a huge catalyst for that third quarter. Yeah,
and you wonder about not only the battle on the field, but the battle in the coaches' boxes as well, and how much of an impact that'll have, because you're dead right. Like that slight shift, that little magnet move to go man-on-man changed the whole complexion of the game. So what does Clinton Brown have up his... Clinton French have up his sleeve for North Hobart in terms of putting it back on North Launceston? some tactical tweaks to put the game back into their hands? Does he have a plan B or a plan C that he can fall back on and employ against this team to try and get the game back on an even keel? Because as we saw in the first half, the ability's there. Like, they've got the ability, the way they were able to move the footy and lock it in inside forward 50 and create scoring opportunities, it was there. Like, that is there. We saw that with our own eyes. So does there need to be a tactical change to get it back their way? It's going to be really interesting this final term. They're not out of it, mind you. It's only 3 goals, so they've shown they can kick goals quickly. You'd have to say North Launceston look really, really strong at this point, and if they continue like they did in that third term, then North Hobart are going to have a tough old time.
They must score early here, you feel, the Demons. Give themselves any chance in this one. Got to put the pressure on them early.
Well, I don't think they didn't score. I don't think in that third term, unless I'm mistaken. I might have missed it behind, but I don't think they kicked a goal.
Yeah, I think that's right. It was 6 goals to zip. The start that the Bombers designed is about to come to fruition here. Didn't quite have the purchase on the kick there event though, and Evans couldn't quite bring it down. The Demons would try and scramble it out of defence. Norton's in some trouble. He's stone cold dropped it. And the free kick will be paid. Advantage taken. Swinging around the corner is Foon. He kicks it straight through the middle. And North Launceston get the perfect start just as they started in the first quarter. A goal inside the opening 30 seconds. And that might just put to bed any hopes of a Demons come back in the last.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing from a Demons point of view. The absolute last thing they wanted there was a goal inside the first minute. They wanted to, as you said, kick the first, like the little wins, kick the first one of the term, or win the term, or win the first stoppage, or get the first clearance, or whatever it might be. They couldn't manage any of those things, and Jay Foon, one of these class players, gets on the end of one and kicks at the easiest of goals from 25 metres out. Back in the middle we go. Here go North Hobart. Can they just find something? Leafheber comes out. I've enjoyed his game, kicking to the leading forward, able to hit the target in the arms of Van Buren. High ball back into the middle of the ground. Underneath it is Jackson, who's battled really hard all afternoon for the Demons. Inside forward 50 they go. They need a goal. Able to take the mark was Splan, who just fell down as he gathered the footy. Flying shot on goal. Misses to the near side. Minus score. And that might be North Hobart's only score for a long time. In it comes. Cox Goodger. He's got a runner on the way past who he utilises. Kick now to Foon, who just cleverly kept it in play. Event got a high one. Play on was the call. Forward they go again, North Launceston. Underneath the footy getting back was Williams. He went to ground. They're in trouble here. Leary's lurking. It dribbles out. A clean possession. Foon hovering over the ball. In went Event. He kicked a goal in that third term. Scrambles one goalward. It fell very, very fortuitously into the lap of Griffiths, who puts it through the big sticks from 5 metres out. And North Launceston add another. 11-5-71 now, the Bombers. North Hobart 6-6-42. Well and truly running away with this one. It's been a 10-goal turnaround, Drew Cooling.
Yeah, they flicked the switch coming into the second half, haven't they, the North Launceston Bombers. They've raised their level, they've lifted their game, and unfortunately for the hosts, they just haven't had that extra gear to be able to go with them. They were maxed out in the first half, basically. Produced about as good a half as football as they could have, but unfortunately they've risen to this challenge magnificently here, the Bombers, this afternoon. They've shown their class and looking pretty emphatic on the scoreboard now, which is remarkable given where we were. And they're going forward once more here. They'll go inside 50. Here's the lively Leary. Is he going to get another free kick? There was a little shirt grab not paid, and escorting man out of play is Bennett with a strong tackle. Anytime the ball's hit the deck, Leary's been a huge threat in that Bombers forward line. His pace has made the Demons' defence uneasy as they've faced increasing pressure throughout the afternoon. The ball's been coming in and coming in deep with a fair bit of regularity in the second half. It's been imposing stuff. Jackson takes it out, but before he can get the kick away, he's brought down to the deck. The Bombers lurking. Trying to get through was Pearce. And have another ball up here. knocking on the door for what would be a third goal in the opening 5 minutes of the quarter. Bennett's going to contest this one. Jackson couldn't find his boot. Bennett tumbles to the deck. And yet another stoppage here. And no shortage of them this afternoon. Jackson and Bennett were really able to clear the area once again. Eventually a tumbling kick gets towards the defensive 50 arc. The handball across from Sulzberger. Back outside they go to Sanders. One way then the other, then the handball off to Walsh. He quickly dished it but left it behind, and now perhaps a chance for the Demons, but not going to go anywhere with that. Just waiting back on it was Foon and Chips. It was going Curvis, sorry, rather. He found Sulzberger. And we just settle it down for the Bombers.
Yeah, so now it's the Bombers with the wall set up and just repelling anything and everything that North Hobart have to throw at them. Event with the look-away handball was handballing to the voice of Walsh. He goes in again. Does Event. McLeod just tries to knock it back over his head. He's got Cox Goodger for company. He goes to ground it. Eventually ends up with Caswell, who got it to Williams. Missed his boot. Hacked out of there by Jackson. It came off, so a chance now for the Demons. Chain of handball. Here they go through Campbell. Inside 50 they go. Bennett gets back. Couldn't take the mark. Gee, spinning on a dime was Poke, who went to the boundary and kicked an absolute blinder. Well, where's that been, North Hobart? Finley Poke. Something out of the Gary Ablett playbook. Increased the angle, made it tougher for himself and slotted it. A rare highlight in this second half for the D's, who got a 7-6-48, still trailing the Bombers 11-5-71. That was enjoyable, Andrew Cooley.
Not really the man you'd expect to produce that kind of a goal too. Finlay Poke, very dexterous stuff there from him. Weaved one way, then the other, and his defender just completely went off to go get a hot dog. He was completely lost, went the complete wrong direction, and then from the pocket, Finlay Poke says, "Thank you very much." So a highlight there, and there haven't been many of them in the second half here, so I'm sure the home supporters will be glad to have seen that. It's been a pretty tough second half, and it stops a run of 8 consecutive goals from the Bombers, and this man's been the catalyst for so much of that turnaround in Cox Goodyear. Not his best kick on that occasion. Edmonds couldn't quite bring the mark down. The handball out across to Angus Norton with some time to assess his options. He chips it up to Lefebvre, who's impressed today. He's surely played on there though, and eventually called to do so. His kick, not a great one for Norton. Goes back in, slapped it across to Keegan Ryan. Ryan sends him inside 50 and finds a target. That's better from the Demons. And perhaps a chance here for Menzies to cut the gap back to 17 points. We'll take a good kick from here with a heavy football.
He's classy though, Menzies. Not beyond him at all.
Certainly is. Very clean in all that he does. Can he find a goal to give his side some semblance of hope here in the final term? To cut the margin from 23 points, Jai Menzies. I don't think he's quite got the distance on that one. Off hands, and then it almost fell into the path of Campbell. But the Bombers able to take it over the line.
So Fletcher Bennett from full-back runs his full measure, kicks beyond defensive 50 to a pack. Another chance here though for North Hobart. The kick's chopped off though by Simpson, and gets things moving immediately. Spots a man out wide. Jay Foon, what a champion he's been for a long time, and pretty good today too. He's going to cut in board. He takes on the North Hobart opponent. It'll work out. Back into the hands of Bennett now. He had a man running past who he elects to utilise. He's going to work it across the ground here. Here's Zach Burt. He's got a man on by hand who he goes with, Simpson. Had a bit of the ball today, Simpson. He's got a man off the bench. Inside 50 they go, and that's all too easy, North Launceston, as Pearce takes the mark. He'll line up for a third from just inside 50.
One of those players that really lifted in the second half, hasn't he, Pearce? Didn't
Yeah.
do a lot in the first half, but really made his impact felt in this third and fourth quarter.
Well, he kicked that opening goal in the first 10 seconds, it felt like, and then drifted out and then kicked another really classy goal a little later on, and he's got a chance to add a third here. He's been all right. And he comes from right on the paint. It's a wobbly old kick to the top of the square. The big men fly. Off hands was Edmonds, who wheeled around uncontested and just snapped the easiest of majors. So North Launceston with the quick response. 12-5-77 the Bombers. North Hobart 7-7-49.
That's the nail on the head, though, Chris. There was time and space for him in the forward pocket there. First half, there was none of that. You got the ball, you were swamped, you were besieged. The tackling pressure and intensity that the Demons brought the first half has been sadly lacking in this second half. And just that extra time and space has allowed them to pick options and get good scoring shots inside 50. It's just been across the board, the pressure's fallen off, unfortunately, and it leads to those sort of soft goals, which they just couldn't find in the first half. It's been a real 180 as McCulloch won that one down. Kilpatrick's been pretty good. He'll send them inside 50 here, and that's a strong mark taken by Will Splan, whose influence has drifted a little since the rain tumbled down, but
that's a strong mark, isn't it?
He's been doing a lot of this sort of thing all day, just presenting up outside 50 and showing good hands. And when things were going well for them early on, he was at the heart of, I think, the first 3 goals, Will Splan. This would take something pretty spectacular, though. He'll kick from 55. In the end, just opts to stand it up deep inside 50. Lee Faber came across with the spoil. And out of play for a throw-in. 10.5 gone by in quarter number 4. 28 points, the margin for North Launceston. Fairly comfortable on the scoreboard, but if you're just tuning in, it was all the Demons in the first half. Led by 27 points.
They certainly did. So it's a mirror image, a game of 2 halves. North Hobart was sniffing a really famous win, but the might of this North Launceston team proving a little too much. What can they conjure here? Here's Kilpatrick. He'll have a flying shot on goal from just inside 50, all the way to the line, off the back. It might have been Campbell. It was. Puts it through. North Hobart have kicked a couple in this final term. They haven't been completely smashed in this final quarter, which is good to see. So Campbell adds his first for the afternoon. North Hobart not going down without a fight. 22 points the margin. 8-7-55 the D's. North Launceston 12-5-77. It was just that run, wasn't it, from North Launceston? 6 or 7 or 8 goals it was that just snuffed out North Hobart. But as we've said, they've still showing signs.
Yeah, they're hanging there. I reckon from about probably the 10-minute mark of the third quarter to the 5-minute mark of this quarter, they were near perfect, the Bombers, and slammed on 8 or 9 goals in that time, and that has been where the game was well and truly broken open. But good to see the Demons still battling out there as Williams intercepts that one. They haven't dropped their heads. They're going to keep soldiering on. This one might fall for White. Quite tough for anyone to pick it up. Nicely done by Stingle, bounced away. Edmonds in a little trouble. Banks Smith came through, just slammed on the boot inside 50. And a strong mark taken, copped a nasty one there afterwards too. Is it Bennett, I think?
It certainly is.
Copped a nasty one around the ear.
There was a little bit of anger and frustration in that, wasn't there?
Yeah, big Bradley Young. I think he knew he wasn't going to get the football there, and that was the old-fashioned make them earn it, which I'm a massive fan of, but hopefully he'll be all right to take his kick. Seems he will be. Thomas Bennett.
Pretty well held this afternoon, hasn't kicked a goal.
Yeah, they've done pretty well in that regard, clamping down on him. He plays the 1-2 here, and then the handball off to Sulzberger. Didn't get the distance from 25.
No, he might have had a little bit more time and space than he thought. Sulzberger. So the Demons bring it in. They go wide to White. Keegan Ryan. So White, a little one inboard. Just made Williams work for it, but he was good enough. He's at right half back, runs his full measure, kicks along the boundary line, up the wing to the contest, off the hands of Edmonds, into the path of event. Couldn't gather cleanly. Edmonds butted up really nicely, got it out to Sulzberger, to Cox-Goodger. Wonderful hands inside to the running Walsh, who kicks to a dangerous position. Having to hold his ground was Leary, who didn't take the mark, recovered beautifully, snapped over his shoulder and kicked a wonderful goal. He's been an igniter all afternoon, has Leary, and that's the ability he has to butter up and finish off. And he adds another major. North Launceston 13,684. North Hobart 8,755. Is that his third or his fourth, Drew? I've got him down for 3, but it might have been number 4.
I think it's his 4th.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I think, he's just been a real live wire every time the ball's hit the deck, hasn't he? He's caused issues for them, and they haven't been high percentage kind of efforts he's been taking, but he's been dissecting the middle every time. Really, really impressed me this afternoon. As the ball goes back into the middle, another one who's impressed has been Edmonds. He's had plenty of it here in the second half. He is Caswell for the Demons, though. Swings it back the other way. And Curvis defending the situation. Dish the little handball out, and they'll look to bounce off half back through Bennett, who just tumbles one to the wing. Coming from behind decisively was Donnelly, then Banks Smith laying the tackle. Side's wanting a free kick there, I think. There's plenty of physicality out there still.
Yep.
They've not stopped flying in here, the bodies this afternoon. Trying to get clear is Jackson, but doing really well was Edmonds again. He's impressed me today, Edmonds. Heavily involved as Jackson's influence hasn't been quite as pronounced here in the second half. He was so dominant there in the first 2 quarters, but they've clamped down on him a bit as the game has progressed. And it's been the Bombers midfielders who've been getting those crucial clearances. A shirt grab's been spotted here by the umpire. Free kick going the way of the Demons to be taken by Caswell. Wheel and go. Didn't really have anywhere to go to, though, so just dished it off to Jackson, who just stops to pump it in deep off hands and out of play for a throw in.
It's interesting the amount that North Hobart opt to give it to Jackson. No, he's not a great kick of the ball. He's done some terrific work around the ground, but kicking just not his strong suit yet. They seem to look for him a little bit.
A bit too much, some might say.
A bit more than they should. Or maybe he's just always in good spots. Out of the ruck, it's taken. Hands and knees. Stingle was working really hard. A good tackle applied. Did he get a handball out? Umpire says play on. No, he doesn't. And he says that's holding the ball. It's not a bad decision. He took on the tackle at Stingle, and chance for McCulloch to add to his tally. He's kicked the 1 this afternoon. 10 for the season. Can he add another? 17 minutes gone in this 4th term. Amber's on in. He'll kick from 30. Got really close to the man on the mark. Makes no mistake. Pops it through. Does Jack McCulloch. And they've been okay in this final term, have the Demons. Which would be frustrating, probably more so for the coach, Clinton French, who knows that his team has some ability and has the capacity to hit the scoreboard and achieve things, but just that lapse. 9-7-61 North Hobart trail North Launceston. 13-6-84. 23 points the margin. 18 minutes gone in this 4th and final term.
Yeah, I think it just shows the area they need to get better at. It's consistent across all 4 quarters. The Demons, we've seen quarters at a time this year. They've been pretty good. Challenges to string together for them as Kilpatrick sends them forward, but that one's pretty comfortably intercepted back there. Chipped into the middle. He finds Edmonds. His handball was shut down though by Kilpatrick. Got to Lefebvre. Lefebvre sent it out the back, but it was all Bombers back there. So no good rush of blood there perhaps from young Lefebvre, who's heavily involved today.
He's competed, hasn't he?
Yeah, hasn't always come off everything he's done, but
been in the thick of it.
Absolutely. He scrapped away. It's been lively as this one's swung out to the wing. Ooh. Coming across from the side there was Chug. Now Banks Smith, little banana forwards. Took an awkward bounce, pretty well defended. Strong bounce off of Young there. It was a tough bump on Bennett. Ball spills out the back for Sanders. Sanders just looks classy when he picks the ball up, and he uses it well here. He'll swing it out wide and find Thomas Bennett. Bennett looks up. See some demons dropping back into the space, so we'll just take his time and allow a few extra bodies to get to the contest, and in the end, a good relieving mark taken by Bailey Walker, who's battled hard this afternoon. Probably had his colours low a little in the second half, but first half he was fantastic back there. His kick, a poor one, turned straight over to Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear slipped as he kicked as well and picked out Walker. Well, have it right back, he says. The Demons still not doing a great job clearing the area, though. The danger has not yet passed. They might finally be able to clear through McLeod. Punch from behind came from Donnelly. Now Dominic White will bounce into some open space. He looks up, assesses his options, and chips in a kick, which was always to the favour of Nankervis, really. And now Sanders takes it away, stylishly off half back, and chips it down to Fletcher Bennett. Fletcher Bennett knew he had Donnelly in support. That's where he headed. Donnelly just slipped as he kicked a little, and it impacted it offline for a minor skill.
Donnelly, who's played in the ruck for large portions of today, flying shot from 55. You don't see many ruckmen do that. Of course, Donnelly isn't a ruckman, but he's a good player. He's Tom Donnelly. So North Hobart now, 20 minutes gone in his final term. 24 points the margin. They led by 27 at one point, 21 at half time. So just try and work it through the middle of the ground here. Little kick is edging forward. Picked off by an opponent. Here's Walsh. He's trying to gather it under his spell. Manages to do so. Fed up the handball. And Sulzberger running past. Gives it to Cox Goodyear. Out to Donnelly. Handball over the top. Just missed Foon on the way by. Couldn't gather it. North Hobart under siege here. And there's a man all alone inside forward 50. And I think it's Griffiths who has one for the term and one for the game. And he can go back and have a look at his second.
30 points would be pretty emphatic on the scoreboard if he puts this through.
Yeah, it would be. It would be a 57-point turnaround from where they were. A dominant second half. In comes Griffiths. Looks pretty good off the boot. He liked it. The umpire liked it. And it's a goal. So North Launceston add another. 14-7-91. 30 points the margin. North Hobart 9-7. 61, 22 minutes gone in this fourth term, which is well and truly, or this second half I should say, as well and truly belonged to the Bombers.
Yeah, it's been dominant stuff. They've been in control throughout this second half, and a badly needed victory after a couple of off weeks there for North Launceston. After the grand final was looking a little bit tougher if they had to travel down and potentially take on Clarence. So I'm sure they'd prefer home field, especially having been humbled by Clarence up there a week ago. But the battle for that second and third spot is going to rage over the final weeks of the TSL season and could yet prove very, very important, although everyone very much still chasing Launceston in this league. They have looked to cut above this year.
And if you're following the AFL at all, or looking for a score, North Melbourne have defeated Carlton by 39 points. Wow, 116 to 77.
Tassie Tarrant doing his thing, no doubt.
Nick Larkey kicked 7.
Wow.
Tarrant Thomas kicked 4.
Well, there you go. Tarrant, you star.
That might be the game for North Melbourne, the breakout game.
TSL alum, as this one's inside 50 once more.
That's right. Former Bomber.
Yeah. He certainly made his impact as a youngster in the TSL. A few scouts on notice. Great to see him doing it at the next level, as this one's in dispute in the midfield. Trying to surge through was Hubbard, but then just had it taken out of his hands. Kilpatrick sends it forward. It's been dominant from the Bombers' defence in the second half. Every time it's come in, it's been their defenders playing in front and winning the contest more often than not. Nathan Pearce on a searching lead, takes a strong mark, and will send them inside 50 once more. Cox Goodyear was the target, but just dropping back was Hugh Williams. They've been pretty efficient going forwards in the second half for the Bombers, haven't they? I mean, 14 goals 7. I said at the start of the game it was North Hobart who needed a really efficient display up front today to be any chance. It's been the Bombers who've produced it. Some of the goals they've kicked, pretty low percentage too.
Free kick plucked out here in the middle of North Hobart Oval and go the way of the Bombers. Edmonds, who's done some nice things too this afternoon. The trip back up the highway will be a little easier after a nice win down in Hobart, and the delivery is spot on down the throat of Thomas Bennett. He'll go back, and you'd think, oh no, there's been a free kick plucked out. Maybe a bit of holding off the ball, and it'll be Leary to line up for number 5.
Works out nicely in the end for Edmonds. Kicks it onto the man in the mark, Scott, and it bounces right back into his path and takes the man in the mark out of the equation for him.
So Leary come into this game with 22 goals to his name. He's kicked 4, which puts him to 26, and 5 would put him up to 27. And it looks like he's done the job. 27 goals for the season. Young Brandon Leary, 5 for the afternoon. Hasn't he been impressive?
They've had no answers there. And
5 goals straight, I want to say, too.
Yeah, he's just been the one they've not been able to find a match-up for. And a free kick given away on that occasion off the ball just shows how uneasy about him they are. Just reaching out and kind of holding him when he's not even near the ball. That's the type of nerves he's been inducing in the defence today. But yeah, they've got a real player on their hands here in Brandon Leary. Super, super impressive.
Yeah, you'd take down Tommy Bennett, who's been goalless this year, this afternoon, I should say, and then Leary pops up with 5. So that's generally how it goes with good teams. If one doesn't get you, the other one will.
Yeah, it's important to have multiple avenues, isn't it? Sometimes you can just, one of your men might be able to be locked down, but Leary, have had no one been able to get near him today.
No, he's been really impressive as they look to move it forward again. But North Hobart have other ideas late in the piece here. Handball into the middle of the ground. Poke, who kicked that wonderful goal a little earlier as well. Dribbler inside 50. Van Buren met it at full pace, but a wonderful chase down tackle. Umpire immediately said holding the ball. That was terrific. And Jai Menzies is battling all the way until the bitter end. Couldn't hit a target inside 50. Splan came out, couldn't take it. It's all wrapped up. Sanders at the bottom of the pack. Jai Menzies just floated in and out of the game, hasn't he? What he's done has been really impressive, and spoken about his class, but been sort of large patches where we haven't called his name as well. Straight out of the ruck contest was Edmonds. Kicked it beyond defensive 50. North Hobart now. Kilpatrick, who's been pretty impressive as well today. At left half forward to a dangerous position. Getting across was Burt. Couldn't take the mark. Umpire has picked out a free kick. It'll go North Launceston's way.
Young Riley Sanders just collecting the ball there. He's shown a few promising signs here this afternoon. As we tick towards full time here, it's going to be a big comprehensive victory at the end of the day for North Launceston, as they blew the game open in quarter number 3, reeled in a 27-point deficit in a 63-point turnaround. They run out 6-goal victors, 15 goals 7, 97 to 9 goals 7, 61. The young Demons, they battled hard early on. They had themselves primed for the upset, but the cream just rose to the top in the second half there, as North Launceston really lifted in the third quarter. The Demons simply did not have the gears to go with them. And a pretty comfortable win at the end of the day for the Bombers as they set their sights towards September.
So interesting what you sort of take out of that, because if you could sort of get in front of a crystal ball at the start of the day and see that you went down by 36 points, of course you're not going to be happy with it. You're not happy with losing, but you think, okay, like that's probably about right. 6 goals. That's not even too bad against the number 2 team in the comp. But then you see the way the game was played, and you were 27 points up, 21 points at half-time, and you were just completely and utterly overrun in the second half. Definitely some positives in that first half for North Hobart, who were moving the ball really well. They were spotting up their forwards. They were converting their set shots. They were holding their marks, and their pressure was outstanding. But then to just drop in that third term and in the start of that fourth term as well, and really let North Launceston get on top. And we called it. We knew that they would respond. It was obvious and plain for all to see that this great team would respond, and they did exactly that. So for North Hobart to know that, and I'm sure they would have known that, and to still, I suppose, let it happen, must be really disappointing for Clinton French and his team. But having said that, as I mentioned, 36 points against this champion side and one of the best teams in it isn't a disaster, and they certainly weren't disgraced today, North Hobart. But North Launceston just did as good teams do. They were challenged, they responded, and they got it done in the end. Yeah,
absolutely. I think North Hobart will want to bottle that first half effort. If they can produce that more quarters than not, they're going to get some results and maybe able to get that second victory of the year. But then they can look at the second half and go, that's not what we want. That's what we've seen far too often this year. It's been the thing that's plagued them, stringing together 4 quarters. We've seen a quarter or two at a time that's been really impressive, but just stringing them all together into a total performance has eluded them. But you'll get that with young sides, and as you said, against the might and class of this Bombers outfit. It was going to take a pretty spectacular effort today. Unfortunately, they just couldn't go with them when they lifted in the third quarter. And I just think maybe in the first half it was a case of the Bombers who've really enjoyed absolute dominance out of the middle all year, courtesy of Lee. Playing without him maybe just shifted things a little bit. They weren't quite used to it, had to find another method to their victory today. They made those adjustments in the second half and run out comprehensive victors.
I'm going to read out the goal kickers, and while I do, I want your 3-2-1 out of this. So I'll give you just 30 seconds to conjure something up. But for North Hobart, the goal kickers, McCulloch, Jackson, Kilpatrick, Campbell, Poke, Ryan, McLeod and Splan, all individual goal kickers for North Hobart. And for North Launceston, well, it was Brandon Leary with that 5-pack. An opportunist's game, and he really made his chances count. He kicked the 5 for North Launceston this afternoon. Will Edmonds chipped in with 2, and singles to Cox Goodyer, Zach Burt, Jack Event, Jay Foon and Harvey Griffiths. So comprehensive display from North Launceston, including a 5-pack to Brandon Leary. Andrew Cooling, your votes please.
I'm going to give the 1 to the number 1, Bradley Cox Goodyear. I think he really lifted in that second half when they needed a response. I thought he was clean. His hands are the thing that really stood out to me. Those bullet handballs, the dishes out that just opened the game up. I thought that was a real key to how they helped turn the game around. But number 2, I'm going to give 2 votes to Judah Edmonds. I thought he really battled hard today. I thought he had an outstanding second half, but he showed plenty, showed a real willingness to win the contested ball. He was prolific throughout the afternoon, and he stood out. I think was probably one of their better 4-quarter performers. I thought even when things were going against him in the first half, he was pretty good. And the 3 votes, well, I think it has to be Brandon Leary for that performance. When you're a small forward and you kick 5 goals, I'm not overlooking that effort. It's very tough in modern football to kick bags like that as a tall forward, let alone as a small. I thought he was the difference today. He just took every opportunity that came his way, and he was outstanding.
Well, there you have it. 3 votes to Brandon Leary from Andrew Cooling this afternoon. North Launceston were challenged by North Hobart, down by 27. But they responded like the champion team they are to run out 6-goal winners, 15-7-97 to North Hobart, 9-7-61 at North Hobart Oval in overcast and miserable conditions for a good chunk of the day. Hope you've enjoyed the call. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. That's all for now. See you next week.